A service of KIBMradio.com, the Internet's home for an all old-time radio.
Oh, the Goldbergs. Well, while the Goldbergs drive home from the bowling alley, and while Orianne and Mr. Way walk home, at the Goldberg house, a very interesting change is taking place in everybody's affairs. It doesn't look like much, except that a big limousine is drawn up before the door, and a chauffeur is sitting in it, waiting for Mr. Way. The reason is that Way's former wife has appeared in Glastonbury, object unknown. And the story which Way is imagining for himself with Orianne is in for some revision. But now in the Goldberg house, Seymour and Bertie are doing some watching and some talking.
I'll take the phone, baby. Go open the window. How does it look? Oh, please, Seymour. Hello? Is this you, Miss Goldberg?
Yes, are my mother and father home yet?
No, we're waiting for them.
Oh, well, I think they'll be there any minute now. Who's in the house, Seymour?
Just myself and my sister Bertie.
Where's Mrs. Wade?
Her car is outside and her chauffeur is outside.
Oh,
And
never mind. My mother'll be home soon. She'll tell you everything.
yeah, where are you, Miss Goldberg?
I'm at the bowling alley, and tell my mother that we're bowling another game.
Would you like me to wait for you?
Don't say. What?
It wouldn't be any trouble.
Don't say.
I'm glad of any opportunity to be of assistance.
Thank you. Goodbye.
Goodbye. Brady, will you get away from that window? How does it look?
Public opinion bothers me very slightly, Seymour. What do you mean, how does it look? She's not in the car anymore. The chauffeur took her back to the hotel.
She's hers. She has a name, you know.
You know very well of whom I'm speaking, Mrs. Way. Why don't you go outside and ask the chauffeur to come in? You don't have to sit out there like a chauffeur in a museum. If he's waiting for Mr. Way, he can wait in here where it's warm.
That's why you want him to come in, huh?
Why is it?
So you can talk. Your middle name, talk.
Listen, Seymour, when it comes to talking, that's the one thing you can go to the head of the class for, I assure you.
Don't assure me, Brady. You're my sister long enough for me to know your faults and virtues.
So, what's my fault and what's my virtue?
Your virtues you know too well. Your faults you should be told already.
Well,
what?
What are they?
I told you talk too much.
Listen, Seymour, if I didn't talk, where would I be? And what would I be? The wife of a cab driver.
So what are you? The wife of a cab driver.
But am I satisfied? Am I contented? Why am I away from my home? Away from Mama? Away from my only child? 2.5 years old? Why? Because my ambition goes beyond the wife of a cab driver. Someday, some way, somehow, you'll see me sitting behind a chauffeur in a uniform, too. Maybe in a special body.
Where's it all going to come from?
From my big mouth that you complain about, Seymour.
Not only your mouth.
What then? Because I want to know things? Because I'm interested? I'm not a stick in the mud. You're waiting for Mr. Goldberg already. How long? How many raises did you get? How far ahead did you go? You started as an errand boy, and how much farther ahead are you?
I have to wait.
For what?
Rome wasn't built in a day, you know.
But it didn't take a lifetime either.
I have a future, don't worry.
If you think you'll ever be Mr. Goldberg's son-in-law...
Stop. It's enough. Enough. Don't trespass on my private emotions.
Oh, excuse me. Rosie Goldberg is not for you.
It's enough, Brady.
I'm just telling you what Mama would tell you if she was here to tell it to you. Yes. Open the door, Seymour. I will not. It's Mrs. Way's chauffeur. Open the door.
I'm not going to open the door. I'm going out the back way. You open the door and you will.
Seymour, when my health is better, Oh. Come in, please. Please come in. Come in.
Getting a bit cold outside. So,
That's what I thought, and I hesitated to invite you in because of the unusual circumstances attached to your presence here.
yes, of course.
The Goldbergs all went bowling this evening. Mr. Way went also, not so much because he cares about bowling, but, well, Mrs. Leland went, so Oh, you don't know who Mrs. Leland is, do you?
Mrs. Leland? Yes, the cook did mention the name. She's Mr. Way's partner in the chicken business, isn't she?
Yes. You'll see her. She's very pretty.
Beauty is a relative form.
Mrs. Way, or should I say the former Mrs. Way, isn't so young, is she?
Considering what she has lived through, another woman would be in the grave.
I can imagine seeing your husband murdered, seeing your husband go to jail and go to jail and go to jail and...
The greatest tragedy in the whole tragedy from Mrs. Ray's point of view, if I may presume to present it, was that she had nothing to regret in losing him. That's the sadness. No grieving in the grief.
How true, how very true. Is that why they were divorced?
I feel a bit warmer now, so thank you. And
You're not intruding. Please say.
No, thank you, but
It's very funny, but after you work for rich people any length of time, you take on their manners. You're not intruding. Please sit down. I'm just a plain working man's wife like you.
Well, gentlemen in my profession do happen to see a bit more of the world than most, of course.
I guess you're very well acquainted with the resorts of the rich.
Oh, I've had occasions to spend a little time there, especially when the madam was still married to Mr. Way. Bermuda is lovely.
Bermuda?
Yes, in Hawaii.
Hawaii?
And Key West fishing, you know.
Did they take you wherever they went?
Oh, I was inseparable from them.
Are you married?
I haven't had the misfortune, thank you.
Oh, marriage is a very great institution.
Yes, so is prison. And Mr. Way has been in both of them. No, thank you.
Mrs. Goldbergs, this is Mrs. Way's sofa. This is Mrs. Way's sofa. How do you do?
How do you do? I'm waiting for Mr. Way. And Mrs. Way is waiting for them at the hotel, you know.
Well, Mr. Way should be home. I mean, we didn't expect a guest. So we also joined to the bowling alley for a little repast. But I'm sure baby, a postman called dear. Hurry up. Yes, I'm sure Mr. Way will be home any minute.
He's walking home with Mrs. Leland.
Excuse me, I'll take the phone. Won't you sit down, please?
Thank you.
You can remove the big coat.
Hello, dear. Can you stay
Hello? Just a minute. Yes? Just a minute, please. I can't hear you. Just a minute, please. Please. If you don't mind. I can only hear on one ear. Please, if you don't mind. Hello? Repeat yourself, please. Oh. Yes, I'm very sorry, but you see, if I was home at the time you arrived, which I wasn't, of course, on that subject, I'm not so conversing, but, yes, if you wait just a minute, just 1 minute, I'll put in mine. Don't hang. It's for you, the sofa, Mrs. Ray.
Yes, thank you. Yes, madam. Well, the Goldbergs have just returned, but no, not yet. He's walking back with... just 1 moment, please. What's her name?
Leland. Orion Leland.
Yes. He's walking home with Mrs. Leland. Orion Leland. Yes.
Whether this information means anything to Way's former wife, no one can tell. And neither can Molly imagine what Mrs. Way wants with the man she divorced and permitted to go to jail.
Ladies and gentlemen, the story you are about to hear is true. Only the names have been changed to protect the innocent.
Fatima Cigarettes, best of all long cigarettes,
brings you Dragnet. You're a detective sergeant. You're assigned to homicide detail. A young woman has been murdered. The body was discovered behind locked doors. The assassin is still at large. Your job, find him.
If you want a long cigarette, smoke the best of long cigarettes. Smoke Fatima. Fatima is the long cigarette which contains the finest Turkish and domestic tobaccos superbly blended to make Fatima extra mild. And that's why Fatima has a much different, much better flavor and aroma than any other long cigarette. That's why Fatima is doubling and redoubling its smokers. So, if you want a long cigarette, smoke the best of all long cigarettes. Smoke Fatima.
Dragnet, the documented drama of an actual crime. For the next 30 minutes, in cooperation with the Los Angeles Police Department, you will travel step by step on the side of the law through an actual case from official police files. From beginning to end, from crime to punishment, Dragnet is the story of your police force in action.
It was Tuesday, January 9th. It was stormy in Los Angeles. We were working a day watch out of homicide detail. My partner's Ben Romero, and my name's Friday. I was on the way to work, and it was 6:45 a.m. when I got to the steps of the City Hall, the Main Street entrance.
Hey, Joe, wait up.
Morning, Ben.
When did they call you?
5 a.m. Donahoe called you?
Yeah. Miserable out, isn't it?
Pretty wet. My feet are soaking wet.
See the transfer there?
Yeah.
New chief of detectives?
Wait a minute, I want to get some gum. Pack of spearmint. You know, I heard about the new chief. Thad Brown. Good man. Fish gum?
Thanks. I wish I'd make up some minds about our shift. Work days, they call you back nights. Work nights, they call you back days.
Why don't you put in for a desk job?
You'll never have to call you back. You're here all the time.
You're just hard to please. Here we are. Thanks, Egan.
Gentlemen, sit down. That's a great way to start off as your new chief. Call you back on a rotten morning like this.
I'm glad you got the job, Thad.
Yeah, congratulations, Chief.
It's hard to follow a man like Ed Backstrand. Gonna need your help.
You got it.
Here's why I called you back. Laura Barclay. The dead body report, nightclub entertainer. Landlady found the body an hour ago.
Who's covering?
Burton and Anderson, they're out there now.
Strangled, huh?
Well, the lamp cord. Still trying to figure out how the guy got in the house. Doors and windows all locked.
Yeah. The tact. That the motive?
For now, yeah. I just came from there. I think there's more.
Any reason?
Her room wasn't prowled.
Yeah?
Just a hunch. Play it for me.
Ben and I left Thad Brown's office, picked up Lieutenant Lee Jones at the crime lab, and drove to the West Adams district, number 16 Imperial Place, where the body of Laura Barclay had been found. It was an ornate frame structure done in Victorian style, at least 30 to 40 years old. Number 16 was on the ground floor. We went in. A narrow hallway led to the bedroom in the rear of the house. 2 gas jet fixtures, which had been converted to electricity, were the only illumination.
This place has seen better days.
Anybody else coming out, Lee?
I see flash bulbs down there. They must be here already.
Lieutenant, Friday, down this way.
Hi, Burton.
Hi. Photographer's covering the body position. Peterson's dusting for prints.
Fred, shoot a couple of overheads. Don't make them all angle shots. Get up high, then move in close.
Yeah, Chief was right. Room's in pretty good order.
Did you talk to anybody, Burton?
Landlady lives upstairs. Only 2 people living in the building.
Mm-hmm. Did she tell you anything?
Said the Barclay girl paid her rent on time. Good tenant. Plays the organ at the Blue Fox. Cocktail lounge.
Any idea how the murderer got in here?
Not yet. Every door and window in the place is locked.
Anything else?
That's it so far. We'll give you 15.7 of what we got.
Okay, Lloyd. You and Anderson have another detail?
Yeah, working on that Westwood thing. 2 uniform men outside if you want anything.
Right, thanks.
Looks like a tough one, Joe. Whoever did it must have come in through the keyhole. I'll see you later.
So long, Lloyd.
Andy.
Peterson's dusting for prints. Nothing yet. Only piece of physical evidence so far, the lamp cord she was strangled with. I'll run it through downtown.
Not a sign of a struggle. Maybe she wanted to die.
Check the bathroom, will you, Ben?
Yeah.
I'll look around the kitchen.
Hey, Pete, have you dusted the lamps yet?
Not this one. I'm going to see if it's
Ben, come here a minute, will you? Ben,
Yeah?
come in the kitchen, will you? You got a pencil?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, here you are.
Okay. Take a look at this garbage chute here.
Let me see. About 8 feet to the ground.
Yeah, big enough for a man to get through.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, no problem.
Lee.
I'll be right there.
It could be the answer, Joe.
Well, he either got in this way or he was in the house when she came home.
What do you got?
Garbage chute here. What do you think?
Could be. Let me grab a kit. Let's see. Aluminum powder. There it is. No. No, nothing on the outside of the lid. Looked pretty clean. Must have just been scrubbed. Abrasions here. Got a pencil?
Yeah, I'll get it.
Hold it up there, will you?
Yeah,
Yeah? Here we go. Large prints. Unusually large. Big hands.
Can I look inside the chute a minute, Lee?
Go ahead. Watch that lid.
Yeah, I will.
Looks like it's blocked off upstairs.
This thing hasn't been used for garbage for some time.
Most of them were condemned a few years back. I'll get Fred to shoot these. Let's go in the living room.
That desk been dusted, Lee?
Yeah, it's clean. Go ahead.
Take a look, Joe.
Yeah. Photographs.
Hundreds of them. All men.
Yeah, all different. Lee Jones and the crime lab crew finished up and went back to Central Division. 2 uniformed officers remained on duty at the scene of the crime. Thad Brown had men sent out to canvass the neighborhood. Ben and I went upstairs and talked with the landlady, a Mrs. Emma Smith.
Yes?
Police officers. You, Miss Smith?
Yes. You're not the same officers I talked with before.
No, ma'am. I wonder if we could ask you a few questions.
I told the other officers everything I knew.
We have to double-check, Miss Smith. Who was the girl who lived in the apartment below, number 16?
Laura Barkley.
Is that the name she used? The mail she received, was it addressed that way?
Yes, it was. Oh, she was a very good tenant, Laura. No trouble with her at all.
When did she move here?
Oh, about 4 or 5 years ago. I have the rent receipts. I always save receipts.
Did she always live by herself?
Oh, yes. That apartment rents to one person only.
Did she have many visitors, friends dropping in?
None that I ever saw. Pretty much to herself, Laura. The men came yesterday and took it away.
What's that, ma'am?
The organ. Electric one. Laura rented it from a big downtown firm. Used to practice all the time. My, it was beautiful.
Yeah.
In the gloaming. She used to play that for me.
Mrs. Smith, when did the men come and take the organ away?
Yesterday, in the afternoon, about 4:30.
Was Miss Barkley at home when they came?
No, she wasn't. She left me a note to let them in, so I let them in. I never allow anyone in the apartment without a note.
You know the name of the company where she rented the organ?
Braziers, it was called, down on South Spring.
Well, didn't you think it was unusual that Miss Barkley didn't have any friends?
Now, officer, I didn't say Laura didn't have any friends. What I said was that she didn't have any friends who came to see her here. She moved here from a hotel for women. That's the reference she gave me.
I see. I wonder if you could give us the address of that hotel, please.
I'll write it down for you.
Thank you. Ms. Smith, did you hear any unusual sounds in Miss Barkley's flat last night? Anything out of the ordinary?
If I had, I would have called the police and we'd have saved a girl's life.
Well, thank you very much, Miss Smith. Here's our card. If there's anything you think of after we've gone, don't hesitate to call us.
Thank you, I will. I hope you get the dirty men who killed Laura.
We didn't say it was men, Miss Smith.
Well, isn't it always a man?
Before we left Mrs. Emma Smith, we asked her about the garbage chute. She said it had not been in use for the last 4 years. We showed her the stack of photos. She could identify none of them. We drove back to Central Division. We checked Brazier's music store. The 2 men who moved the organ were checked out and cleared. We went to the Wynn Hotel for young ladies. They could tell us nothing. Laura Barkley's references were all good. We went back to the office and met with Chief of Detectives Thad Brown.
You think he got in through the garbage chute?
That's the way it looks, Chief.
Went all over the apartment. If there's another way, we haven't found it.
All right, you know how he got in. Who is he?
We got out an APB on his M.O., latent fingerprints, and making a run on those prints we found.
You got an idea about these pictures here. Most of them theatrical stills, show people. Frank Latour and his canine circus. To Laura, all my love, Frank. Tell you what you do. Here's a guy I checked with this morning.
Bernard Karubian, theatrical booking agent, huh?
Yeah, Barney's office is down in the Orpheum building, 8th and Hill. He booked her into the Blue Fox. See what he can tell you.
Right.
You grabbed the pictures, Ben, huh?
Oh, yeah.
Well, you got more than you started with.
Yeah, those fingerprints.
If we get a make on him, we'll be close to the guy.
So was the Barkley girl. But he got away.
I wonder if we could see Mr. Karubian.
Who's calling, please?
Sergeant Romero and Sergeant Friday, police officers.
Oh, one moment, please.
Yeah, please.
2 police officers to see you, Mr. Karubian. Sergeant Friday and Sergeant Romero, is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
Send him in.
Go right in.
Thank you.
All right, let's go.
When them rosy wheels bust through the snow, I'll be coming home on furlough again. When them General Sherman tanks are covered with ice, I'll be home for good, and won't that be nuts? No. This guy's stuff is cornbread. Sit down, fellas.
Thank you.
Can I help you?
I understand that you booked Laura Barkley.
Yeah, that's right. I spoke with her. Got his name right here.
Chief Thad Brown?
Yeah, that's right. He asked me about Laura. Too bad about that. Any clues?
We're working on it, Mr. Karubian.
What makes a person pull a stunt like that? Laura didn't have no enemies.
She had one.
Well, I don't know much about her, except I've been booking her for about 4 years. Good organist. Pretty fair voice, too.
Got some pictures here. One you could take a look at them.
Yeah, sure. Quite a stack. Yeah, old Frankie Latour and them dogs. Great act. I book 'em. Ricky Rogan, King of the Tap. Gus Orinoco and that singing seal of his. Yeah, I know all these people. I book 'em all.
Did Laura Barkley work with all these people?
One time or another, yeah. During the war, USO camp shows, you know.
Do you know whether she was close to any of them?
Well, come to think of it, she was. That Frankie Latour, crazy about them dogs of his.
No, I mean the men themselves. Anybody that she seemed particularly interested in?
Never heard her mention anybody. Pretty girl.
Did you know her very well, Mr. Karubian?
Only when she came in and out of town on an engagement. I'm a married man.
Well, then you don't think there's anything to these pictures here of hers, huh?
I wouldn't say so. When you're on the road, you always collect photos of the people you work with. Souvenirs.
Mm-hmm. Well, thank you very much, Mr. Karubian. Here's our card.
You betcha. I sure hope you catch the guy. Wonder why you picked on Laura.
Sometimes they don't have a reason. When we left Bernard Karubian's office, we checked by the Blue Fox Cocktail Lounge. It was still early. The sign said open 5 p.m. It was 3:15. We went to the morgue in the basement of the Hall of Justice and looked at the coroner's report. The autopsy report stated that the cause of death for Laura Barkley was strangulation. We went to the second floor of the old city jail building, the crime lab.
Nothing on the lamp cord. Standard UL 110 line. About anywhere. No prints.
How about the chute, Lee?
Went back there and rechecked. You were right. The guy got in through the garbage chute. Found more of the same prints along with some cloth impressions in the dust.
Tell you anything?
The guy was wearing some kind of tweed, Donegal, 15 to the inch.
How about the size of a man, Lee? How big could he be to clear that chute?
It had a 20-inch diameter. Almost any man could squeeze through that. Check the ground level of the chute. Cement, no footprints.
You don't have too much for it.
I got one thing for you.
What's that?
I think I found your motive.
But not the one listed on the report.
Yeah?
Here are the blow-ups of the body. This 36 by 54 here. Hold that in, will you, man?
No, I am.
Look through this magnifying glass here. The right hand.
Yeah.
See where I'm pointing?
Ring finger, yeah. Look like ring marks.
That's right. Pretty wide. Must have been good-sized rings.
Oh, I might still be in that room.
I called Thad Brown. He had the room rechecked. No sign.
And you think we got a burglary motive on our hands?
That's my guess. Dad had the boys check with the landlady. She didn't know anything about any rings the Barclay girl might have had.
That doesn't help.
I think I got something else here.
Library book. Hers?
There are cards in one of the pockets inside, checked out from the L.A. Public Library main branch.
Mm-hmm.
I think these might be your lead on the missing rings. A librarian sees a person's hands every time they check out a book.
That makes sense, Lee. We'll play it that way.
What department were the books checked out of?
The music room. Well, that's it. I think you've got your motive now and a good set of prints. You're close.
Thanks a lot, Lee. Well, let's go to the library, Ben. I'll get it. Crime lab. No, this is Friday. Oh. Thanks, Frank. Well, we got some motive.
How do you mean?
No make on those fingerprints. Nothing.
You are listening to Dragnet for the solution to an actual case from official police files. Now, here is a real solution to many of your Christmas shopping problems.
If your friends smoke a long cigarette, give the best of all long cigarettes, Fatima.
Give Fatima for quality.
The name Fatima has always stood for the best in cigarette quality.
Give Fatima for flavor.
Fatima has a much different, much better flavor and aroma than any other long cigarette.
Give Fatima. They're extra mild.
Yes, Fatima is the long cigarette which contains the finest Turkish and domestic tobaccos superbly blended to make Fatima extra mild. Yes, extra mild.
So give Fatima for Christmas in the attractive golden yellow carton.
It's the long cigarette that has doubled and redoubled its smokers. Yes, more and more smokers every day agree Fatima is the best of all long cigarettes.
4:30 p.m. Tuesday, January 9th. Heavy rain. Laura Barclay's murderer was still a free man. Ben and I were sure that whoever left their fingerprints on the inside of that garbage chute was the same man who murdered the Barclay girl. He had no previous record. His first crime, as far as we knew, was a killing, and the odds were all in his favor. The fingerprints gave us nothing. All we had left to lead us to the killer were 3 library books and a stack of old theatrical photos. The solution of most crimes for the working detective is method and persistence. When you have clues, you work with them. When you don't, you work your way to a logical conclusion as best you can. We went to the Los Angeles Public Library, the main branch. The librarians in the music room handle thousands of readers every week. None of them remembered Laura Barclay. We drove over to the Blue Fox Cocktail Lounge. We interviewed the manager, and he knew nothing of her personal life. We talked to Harry Schumann, the organist who had taken Laura Barclay's place.
What would you like to hear, fellas? Police officers like to talk to you, man.
About Laura, huh?
That's right.
All right, if I keep on playing? The manager wants full 15-minute sets.
Oh, yes, go ahead. That's all right.
What can I tell you?
How long have you known Miss Barclay?
Oh, 4 or 5 years. It's a terrible thing. You got to get whoever did it.
Yeah, we're going to try. Can you think of anybody that might have killed her?
I know you ask that question of everybody. I don't know. Does anybody ever know for sure?
Sometimes.
Well, I don't know. When you think of a person, you never think who might murder him.
Maybe you might know a few things about her that you could fill us in on.
I'll try.
She go in for jewelry much? Rings, things like that?
Funny you should ask that. She was nuts for it. Good things.
Rings?
Had a couple of beauties. Diamonds they were, big stones. Cost $4,000. I know she used to put most of her money into those rings.
She'd buy them on time?
Yeah. I remember one night she was overjoyed. The night she paid them off. Cost a lot of dough.
Can you describe those rings for us?
Not too good. I can give you the name of the jeweler she bought them from.
That'll do. Do you know anybody else that we might talk to?
Don't know any of her friends. She was an only child. No living relatives that I know of. How about her landlady?
Yeah, I guess that's it, Harry. Thank you.
For what? I wish I could help more.
If everybody had your attitude, we'd be out of a job. Before we left the Blue Fox, Harry Schumann gave us the address of Laura Barkley's jeweler. The next morning, we checked with the manager of the store, and he gave us a complete description of the 2 diamond rings which the dead girl had purchased. They were valued at $4,000. He gave us detailed drawings of the rings. We went back to the office, gave the information to burglary detail. An all-points bulletin was put out describing them. Pawn shops throughout the city and state were alerted to watch for the stolen rings. We had lunch with Chief Thad Brown at Costa's Cafe.
Never mind, O'Mara. I'll get it.
Oh, thank you, Chief. I'll get the tip.
Stew was good.
There's some change for the cigarette machine. Thanks. Need any cigarettes, Joe?
No, thanks, Thad.
Let's go.
What do you think, Thad?
The description of the rings and the MO should help. They haven't turned up. Good chance he's holding on to them. Could be his first job. Probably scared.
Anybody check back over the neighborhood there?
Yesterday afternoon and this morning. A lot of door-to-door salesmen through that district. All been checked out.
It's a dead end. Now where?
Only those prints are checked out.
Well, they didn't. Got a kickback from Brereton in Sacramento on his MO. No make. We'll have to get him with what we've got.
Here's the car.
Sure you picked up all the loose ends?
Oh, we've been back over the course 3 times.
Go over it again. Keep going over it until something breaks.
For the next 10 days, we retraced our steps from the room where the crime was committed throughout the neighborhood to the place where she worked, back to the same dead end. Ben and I checked and double-checked each other to make certain that neither of us had overlooked even the smallest detail of the investigation. We got no place. It was 8 a.m., January 19th. Homicide, Friday.
This is Robles and burglary, Joe.
Yeah, Dick.
Got something for you. Job blow last night. Couple of watches, strand of pearls.
How do we figure in it?
His M.O.
Yeah?
Guy got in through the garbage chute.
Besides fingerprints and photographs, one other mark by which the unknown criminal is identified is by his method of operation, his M.O. Once a thief finds a successful means of operation, he seldom changes it. In our search for Laura Barkley's murderer, we had checked our files and found no criminals at large whose practice it was to gain entrance through a garbage chute. It was reasonably safe to assume that this was the same man. It was 2 p.m., January 23rd. I was on my way back from the record bureau.
Just had a call, Joe. Elmer Radcliffe.
Informant?
Yeah. Says 2 days ago he heard about some guy who was making the rounds trying to peddle a couple of diamond rings.
Same ones?
He's not sure. Doesn't know what the guy looked like.
Any idea where the guy is now?
Hasn't been around since. Told Elmer to keep his eyes open.
Oh, that's good.
Come in here, you two.
What do you got, Thad?
The report just came down from burglary. Pawn shop down in North Main took in a watch and a strand of pearls last night.
Yeah?
Same stuff that Rubles called you about.
Yeah, I remember.
Where's it tying?
Same guy tried to peddle a couple of diamond rings.
10 a.m., January 25th. Thad Brown arranged to have all pawn shop detail calls concerning the suspect put through to us on extension 2521, homicide. 5 days passed. No further word. Homicide, Friday.
This is George Rose. I run the Harbor Pawn Shop, 2nd and Main.
Yeah, what's the matter?
Man in here, trying to turn those diamond rings. The ones on the stolen property list. I can't talk now.
Stall him, we'll be right down. Come on, Ben, move it.
Yeah?
The next corner.
There it is. Just up the block.
Pull up. All right, let's go.
Yeah.
Here we are.
Say, fella, look out, Joe. He's got a gun. You all right, Joe?
Yeah. Out the back way. Let's get him.
There he goes, up alley.
Can you hit him? We didn't stop him. Watch it.
Come on, Joe.
He's turning on the spring.
He ran into that cafeteria up the street.
Come on, let's run.
Where'd he goes, see him?
Yeah, there he goes. He's headed for the kitchen. Come on.
Stop that man! Stop him!
Out the back door into the alley.
There he goes.
Duck, Ben. All right, Joe, stop.
He's not stopping.
Stay clear.
He's down.
All right, come on. All right, get his guns.
Yeah. He got him in the leg, Joe. Hit his head when he fell.
All right, snap him on.
Look on the little finger of his right hand. 2 diamond rings.
Yeah. Doesn't make sense, does it?
What's that?
$4,000 worth of diamonds, and he's lying on a pile of garbage.
The story you have just heard was true. Only the names were changed to protect the innocent.
On April 2nd, 1947, trial was held in Superior Court, Department 81, City and County of Los Angeles, State of California. In a moment, the results of that trial.
Now, here are authentic reports from all over the country that tell the story of Fatima's sensational increase in popularity. New Orleans Division.
Fatima sales up 300%.
Detroit Division.
Fatima sales up 348%.
Los Angeles Division.
Fatima sales up 545%.
More and more smokers agree Fatima is the best of long cigarettes. So enjoy Fatima yourself and give extra mild Fatimas for Christmas in the attractive golden yellow carton. Everyone who smokes Fatima says that this great new long cigarette is the best of all long cigarettes.
Laura Barclay's murderer was identified as Martin Eric Swanson. He was tried and convicted of murder in the first degree. His case was fought through the Supreme Court of California and in the United States Supreme Court. In both instances, his conviction was upheld. Last Friday morning, after a delay of 5 years, Martin Eric Swanson was executed in the lethal gas chamber at the state penitentiary. You have just heard Dragnet, a new series of authentic cases from official files. Technical advice for Dragnet comes from the Office of Acting Chief of Police W.A. Wharton, Los Angeles Police Department.
Dragnet honors the city of Youngstown, state of Ohio, and the men who make up the Youngstown Police Department, another of America's great law enforcement agencies. One of these men, Chief of Police Edward J. Allen, honored as Policeman of the Year, who dedicates his life so that yours might be more secure.
Fatima Cigarettes, best of all long cigarettes, has brought you Dragnet from Los Angeles. This Christmas, give the gift that makes every pipe smoker happy. A Christmas humidor of mellow Granger. Granger is made just for pipes by the tried and true Wellman method. Rough cut to smoke mild and cool, and humidor packed to stay ever fresh. Yes, make this Christmas a Merry Christmas for all the pipe smokers on your list. Give them each a Christmas humidor of mellow Granger.
Listen to Dragnet next week, and be sure to hear Morton Downey tonight on NBC.
This is the Jack Webb Show. Oh, yes. Time. 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 Oh, my darling. Have you ever stopped to think what Wednesday night at 9:30 means? Oh, my darling. Wednesday night at 9:30 means Wednesday night at 9:30. Ah, my darling, if we were on a windswept hill, if we could but go there, if we could but be there, alone, just you and I and that windswept hill. Just the three of us. Just you. Just I. Just that windswept hill. The three of us, that is. I could but whisper but these three immortal words in your ear, words as old as time. 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 These three words would I but whisper. The Jack Webb Show.
There's too damn many strings on this thing.
This week, Mayor Lapham announced that the fight was still on to raise streetcar fares, but the Jack Webb Show sinks lower and lower. Yes, the Jack Webb Show, or Lost Wednesday. That means Phil Bavaro and those 8 retards known as the Ragged-Airs, Clancy Hayes, who brought music to the marina, will sing the words whether they match the music or not. Tiny Nora McNamara, pretty as a picture, will be framed by the orchestra again this week. John Galbraith, a rare Oakland importation, will prove that anyone can be a radio actor. Due to an increase in our program budget, the above people and things will be assisted in tonight's production by an all-star cast of thousands. And if you hurry, you have just time to catch the second show at your neighborhood movie.
You're tuned to Facts on Parade.
Yes, here's the program all Africa has been raving about. It's Facts on Parade. The only program devoting its entire time to bringing you the unusual, the bizarre, the little known, and that's a fact. This is the program that has everyone saying,
Why, I knew that all the time.
Yes, many college students have used this program instead of their books to graduate. And that's a fact. And now here's the man who says that's a fact. For fact-loving people everywhere, Fred Fact.
Thank you, Fred Flooper, and good evening. And that's a fact. Here's a curious item that comes to us from Fredville, Florida, sent in by Fred Fudge. And that's a fact. Fred Fudge offers this observation. If the uniforms of all the privates in the Army were laid end to end, they would most certainly reach. That's a fact.
Our next item comes from Fredtown, Scotland, submitted by Mrs. Fred Fink.
This one is very strange. She says, and I'm not quite sure this is even a fact, robbing Peter to pay Paul is not much better than robbing Paul to pay Peter. And that's a fact.
And this one wins the Fred Fact Fine Finders of Fact Award. It is submitted by Fred Fang, who lives in Fred Valley, Minnesota.
Fred Fang makes this quaint observation. He says that on this program, we seem to show partiality to the name Fred. And that's a Fred. I mean a fact.
Ladies and gentlemen, this material has been approved by the Federal Bureau of Investigation. We wish to thank the Federal Bureau of Investigation for this material, which they assure us is material.
Is it Dick Tracy?
No.
Is it Sherlock Holmes?
No.
Is it Mr. North?
No.
Is it Mrs. North?
No.
Is it the Thin Man?
No.
The Fat Man?
No.
The Saint?
No.
The Whistler?
No.
The Frog? The Bat? The Green Hornet? The Spider? The Dog? The Cat? The Mouse? No! It's the Razor! He's sharp. Another conspicuous first for radio. The True Adventures of the Razor. Tonight's story, another close shave for the Razor. Entitled The Case of the Confused Keyhole. The Razor is brought to you each week at this time by, well, the Razor is no cheap commercial detective. He's sustaining. Leave us look in on the Razor, sitting in his study, thinking.
3 hours and I haven't had a case. This inactivity is maddening. I'm in a rut. I might as well admit it. As a last resort, I may telephone my sweetheart, Peaches Latoul. Too late now. I have a murder on my hands. Hello, this is the Razor. Who's been murdered? No murder? Oh, you have the wrong number. What? Who? Bufano? Benny Bufano? The Press Club's hat has been stolen? What? What? No, don't touch the thing. This looks serious. You know, Bufano, I suspect the arch enemy of the Razor, Stan Strop. I'll go to work on him right away. The Press Club's hat's stolen. Being held for ransom. I wonder why. Those poor reporters haven't any money. I'll bet there's a half dozen murders before I get to the bottom of this. I'm off for the Press Club. Peaches Latoul. What are you doing at the Press Club? This is gang dinner night.
What do you mean, Press Club? You're on the opposite side of town. You're at my house.
You sure?
Yeah. You've driven all the way across town backwards.
Must have been that Saratan I put in the gas tank. Well, I'm off for the Press Club.
Razor, darling, you seem to be in a lather.
Well, I am. This case has got me stumped. Who stole that cat and why?
I don't know.
Neither do I.
Oh.
Wait.
Yes?
I think I hear a murder out in the hall.
Oh, Razor, you're on edge.
Yes, perhaps I am. There, did you hear the shot?
That was the phone bell.
Oh. This is the Razor. Who? Dick Powell? Oh. Well, just fine, thank you. And you? That's fine. Well, I can't be three places at once. How should I know who sapped you? Peaches, I have a plan.
You have?
Yes.
Oh, that's fine.
Yes, isn't it? Peaches? What'd you say?
Nothing. That was the phone bell.
Oh. This is the Razor. What? Who? Humane Society. Every one, you say? What? No, don't touch a thing. This looks serious. You know, Humane Society, I suspect the arch enemy of the Razor, Stan Strop. I'll go to work on him right away. Peaches, you're not going to believe this. That Press Club cat was only the beginning. Every cat in town has been stolen. Peaches, I've made a list of all the suspects. Round them up and take them down to the San Francisco Opera House. That should hold them all. I'll meet you there in 1 hour, if I don't run into a murder.
They're all here, Razor. 4,000 suspects.
This ought to be easy. Somebody will betray himself with a guilty expression.
We've been here 4 days now.
Yeah. The suspects have thinned out to a mere 3,000. Peaches, I'm on the verge of cracking this case.
We've been here 3 weeks now.
Yes? and I've thinned the suspects down to a scant 1,000. Peaches, this fellow's playing hard to get.
There he goes, Razor, the last suspect.
Yes, and not one of them had a guilty expression. Peaches, this whole thing has been a dismal failure. We're on the wrong track. The Razor admits. He's failed.
Oh, let's go home.
Right. Look out, Peaches! Did they slice you, Peaches?
No, I'm all right.
You know, Peaches, I'm not sure, but I think the men in that car were trying to kill me. I suspect the arch enemy of the Razor stands Strop. I'll go to work on him right away.
Scrape the sky, Razor. I've got you covered.
Egad! Trapped by the notorious Phil Furs.
We interrupt the adventures of the Razor to bring you a brief message. The Razor is no cheap commercial detective. No one can sponsor the Razor. And now, back to the Razor.
I've got you covered now, Phil Furs.
That happened awfully fast.
Yes, didn't it?
Razor, look. That dog is growling at Phil Furs.
Yes, Peaches. Phil Furs, I arrest you for the theft of the Press Club cat and every other cat in town.
Razor, are you sure?
But, of course, I should have known it all along. That dog was growling not at Phil Furs, but at the sweater he's wearing.
The sweater Phil Furs is wearing.
You're too late, Razor.
Egad, think of it, Peaches. Phil Furs has skinned every cat in town.
But why did he steal the Press Club cat?
Simple, Peaches. That was done to confuse me. How silly. Yes, Phil Furs, I arrest you for engaging in the illegal practice of the manufacture and the sale of cashmere sweaters.
Back home again in Indiana. It just seems that I can see that same old candlelight still shining bright through the sycamores for me. And that new mown hay sends out its fragrance through the fields I used to roam. And when I dream about the moonlight on the Wabash, how I'm longing for my Indiana home. Back home again in Indiana. It just seems that I can see that same old candlelight still shining bright through the sycamores for me. And that new mown hay sends out its fragrance through the fields I used to roam. And when I dream about the moonlight on the Wabash, how I'm longing for my Indiana home.
It's contest time on the Jack Webb Show.
Yes, this is that attractive gift offer you've been all waiting for.
Say, Webb, we'd better pitch it straight.
Okay, John, I guess we have. Tell them what we'd like, will you?
Okay, gang, we got a ginger peach prize just waiting for the person who writes the best letter or postcard on the subject, how to get the Jack Webb Show off the air. executives of the American Broadcasting Company are not eligible to enter this contest.
That's right. Folks, John's not fooling. We really would like to get your letters and cards. And the subject once more, John Boy?
All right, but most of them probably have their letter written already. The subject is how to get the Jack Webb Show off the air. All letters must be postmarked not later than Sunday midnight, April 14th.
Just address your letters and cards to the Jack Webb Show, American Broadcasting Company, San Francisco, Zone C.
Honest, you'll like the prize. We can barely afford to give it away.
Sad people everywhere. This is your program. Yes, sad ones. This is the Misery Hour, presented each week at this same sad time by the makers of Phil DeMille's Pills. Is your head splitting with NIAP? Oh, that miserable NIAP feeling. Each of us has it at one time or another. No use trying to fight NIAP, for NIAP fights back. The only way to rid yourself of NIAP is to have your head removed, which is, of course, unless you have plenty of money, is not practical these days. Fight NIAP with Phil DeMille's Pills, a harmless little stimulant that contains small amounts of opium, heroin, marijuana, and cyanide. Before the various stages of NIAP set in, head NIAP, back NIAP, foot NIAP, and ear NIAP, fight NIAP effectively with Phil DeMille's Pills. NIAP spelled backward is pain. And now your host for the evening and conductor of the Misery Hour, Bill Ball.
Thank you, Terry Tier. Well, friends, before tonight's interviews begin, I am happy to report that Gladys Glue, you remember Gladys? She had on the pink formal and the big green picture hat. Lovely child. Well, Gladys Glue has decided to stick it out. She will divorce those first two husbands and stay married to the third. No applause, please. I'm sure that all of you will recall that charming little French chap, Dale Duet, the little two-headed boy. Well, I'm happy to report that little Dale has solved his problem. The public library has granted him 2 cards, and now he can have a book for each head. No applause, please. And now the case of Mrs. P.G. McMee of Mill Pieces. Oh, me, Mrs. McMee. You're all going to pieces. Pull yourself together now. Now, what is your problem?
Oh, I feel miserable, Mr. Ball.
We all do on this program, my dear.
Well, Mr. Ball, I don't know whether you would consider this a problem or not.
Well, tell it, my dear, and we'll see.
Well, I married my husband, Melvin McNee, and I never really did get along with his grandfather because the old man said that I had a face like his sister's cousin who was a gangster because he was given a good beating by her brother-in-law, who later turned out to be the husband of a very wealthy oil woman from Oklahoma, who never suspected her father of having anything to do with the Nazis because as far back as the 3 boys could remember, their mother was mean to them and never allowed their younger sister any of the privileges that Flossie had, which caused the uncle great concern because he had been on the lookout for her mother's brother ever since the last war and was determined that no matter what happened, he would not forgive them. So they are after me time and time again for an answer, and I still have my ambitions. Well, Mr. Ball, my problem is, should I?
Would you mind repeating that, please? Better still, let's have the next case.
Good evening, Mr. Ball. My name is Hobart Heap, and I live in Sausalito. And I have a problem.
Yes, go right ahead. Don't be nervous.
Thank you, Mr. Sausalito. My name is Ball Heap, and I live in Hobart.
Now, please, don't be nervous.
Yes. Well, my name is Hobart Sausalito, and I live in a heap.
Now. You're all unstrung. I believe your name, didn't you say your name was Sausahipo, and you live in Balbarto?
Yes. Well, I have a problem. I am a gambler, and I do the same thing all gamblers do. I gamble. I started gambling pennies at first, and then the grocery money, and then I gambled all my wife's savings away. Our car, our home, all gone. All gone now.
And what does your wife think about all this?
I don't know. She left me yesterday. This morning she came back with the children and the washing machine, but I'd gambled the washing machine away.
I see. Well, about all you have left is your home, isn't it?
No, that went this afternoon. Just 2 hours after I lost my job. Life's just about over for me, Mr. Ball. Gambling has been my undoing.
I see. And your problem?
Mr. Ball?
Yes?
I'd like to know who looks good to you in the 4th at Bay Meadows.
I'm glad I waited for you. I'm glad my heart waited too. Yes, there were one or two I used to date with, but they always knew I used them to wait with. I'm glad I waited for you. I'm glad my heart waited too. That favorite dream of mine has just come true. I'm glad I waited for you. That favorite dream of mine has now come true. I'm glad I waited for you.
Al Halftrack, surplus salesman.
This week, as it must to all men, Army Day came to the infantrymen. In San Francisco, the 2nd Division paraded up Market Street.
What about surplus?
In New York, the Rainbow Division paraded up Broadway.
What about surplus?
Yes, in Washington, Army bigwigs were faced with the perplexing question of surplus. Where is it?
Thus, this Army Day, people all over America were asking the question, what about surplus? Who's buying it, or can they? To bring an end to these questions, a page torn from the private files of Hal Halftrack, surplus salesman.
How you bet, madam. Why, that 16-inch shell will make a beautiful ashtray.
Well, are you sure it won't go off?
Oh, positively. Why, madam, our detonator experts have gone over that shell from stem to stern. It's as safe as a baby's rattle. Yes, you'll certainly surprise your husband with this ashtray.
All right, I'll take it. Here you are.
Fine. You won't regret this buy, madam. No, sir, you won't regret it. Over there. Goodbye. Over there. Well, it'll still make a good ashtray.
Good afternoon. Are you Hal Halftrack?
Right the first time. Hal Halftrack, and I'm dealing in Army surplus.
Fine. Then you're just the man I want to see. I've just come from the draft.
Oh, too bad, too bad. Almost got drafted myself once. Going in the Army, eh? Well, you've come to the right place. You have a decided advantage over the boys who went in early. You're going into the Army equipped.
Yes, but Mr. Halftrack...
Don't say another word. I'm going to outfit you, son. From top to bottom, you're going to be wired for sound.
But Halftrack...
If you don't quit interrupting me, fella, I'll send you right into the Army just like you are. Now, you'll need... Tell me, fella, what branch of the service do you think you're going into? Well, it really doesn't matter. First off, you're going to need a few uniforms, about 12 dozen of each. Paratroopers, cavalry, mechanized infantry, and Air Corps. That's in case you're transferred.
But,
You were about to say, what if you're promoted? Well, I thought of that too, fella. I'm throwing in officers' uniforms for each of the branches, 12 dozen each.
I think you're making a mistake.
Yes, you thought I was leaving out your means of transportation. Well, you're wrong. I'm putting in a fleet of jeeps on your list and a staff car in case you're appointed to the higher echelon.
Halftrack.
Halftrack. I'm glad to see you're taking an interest in this. After all, it's for your benefit, not mine. Yes, indeed, you will need a half-track. Ours haven't been working too well lately, so I'm going to include 3 in your order.
But...
That's a good question. What if you don't stay in the ground forces? What if you fly? Well, we're all out of B-29s, but I can let you have 4 B-17s.
But...
All right. You can have 6. I'll stretch a point.
You don't seem to understand.
Oh, yes. You're worried about that fighter protection up there. Well, I'm including a dozen each. 1 dozen P-38s, 1 dozen P-40s, 1 dozen P-51s, and, if you're lucky, I may throw in a half dozen of the new jets.
Half-track.
You've already got one of those on your list, fella. Now, there's only one more thing I can think of. Let me see it. Chemical warfare, yes? You'll need a full supply of all the poisonous gases, plus a sniff kit so you won't poison yourself. And I happen to have 1 carload. 1 carload of the late gas masks.
But...
Oh, you'll need every one of them. You'll meet a lot of friends in the Army. You know, I can't see why all the rest of the folks who come in here can't use the war surplus items I've sold you. They're all handy. Now, what have you got to say to that?
Only this. I'm the clerk of your draft board, and for some reason you were overlooked in the early call. You're going into the Army equipped. You've just been drafted.
Well, tonight's egg was laid on the vocal side by Clancy Hayes and Nora McNamara. John Galbraith and Ethel Sterling blew the lines. Phil Bavaro and his ragged airs with the music. Dick Green glued the joints together. This is Jack Webb saying good night, gang. Hey, and don't forget us again next week about 9:30. And don't forget your letters and cards, will you?
This is ABC, the American Broadcasting Company.
Ladies and gentlemen, the story you are about to hear is true. Only the names have been changed to protect the innocent.
Fatima Cigarettes, best of all long cigarettes, brings you Dragnet.
You're a detective sergeant. You're assigned to homicide detail. A small boy is reported missing from his home. His age, 9 years. Foul play is suspected. Your job, find him.
Dragnet, the documented drama of an actual crime. For the next 30 minutes, in cooperation with the Los Angeles Police Department, you will travel step by step on the side of the law through an actual case from official police files. From beginning to end, from crime to punishment, Dragnet is the story of your police force in action.
It was Thursday, December 22nd. It was cold in Los Angeles. We were working the night watch out of homicide. My partner's Ben Romero. The boss is Thad Brown, chief of detectives. My name's Friday. I was on the way into work, and it was 3:55 p.m. when I got to room 42. Homicide.
Hi, Joe.
Ben, what's doing?
Oh, pretty quiet. How's your mother?
Well, that cold's still hanging on. Bad cough. Doc says nothing serious.
My kid's got the same thing. Must be some kind of a virus going around.
Yeah.
Is that a new suit you got on?
Oh, yeah. Ma figured I needed one.
Let me see. Oh, yeah, that's a nice shade of blue. Where'd you get it?
Quincy's down in South Fig. Look okay?
Turn around. Oh, yeah, that's a good fit.
Did you get all the reports on the Webster case yet?
Yeah, all taken care of.
Let me get it. Homicide, Friday.
Well, this is Levinson, Unit 113J. Got something for you.
Yeah, Harry, what's doing?
Doherty and I are out here on Collis Avenue, 4656. Trying to track down a 9-year-old boy.
What's the story?
The kid's missing. Suspicion of foul play.
How long has he been gone?
About 2 hours. Looks like a job for homicide.
How do you figure?
The kid was last seen playing in the backyard of his home.
Yeah?
We checked over the yard.
Find anything?
Bloodstains, lots of them. They look new.
Ben and I left a message for Chief of Detectives Thad Brown. Then we went over to the crime lab, picked up Lieutenant Lee Jones, and drove out the Arroyo Seco freeway to Collis Avenue. It was an average neighborhood. Number 4656 was a one-story green stucco residence situated on the corner of Collis Avenue and Harrison Drive. Beyond the backyard was a tract of undeveloped land covered with scrub oak. Harry Levinson from Highland Park Juvenile was waiting for us in front of the house.
Back this way, fellas.
I'm coming, Lee.
Wait till I get my back.
Okay. Who notified you that the boy was missing, Harry?
The mother. Said she went out to do some Christmas shopping about 11 this morning, left the boy home. She came back about 2 this afternoon. He was gone.
What's the name?
Johnstone. Kid's name is Stanley, 9 years old.
Mm-hmm. Was this gate open like this when you got here?
Oh, yeah, I haven't touched the thing. Here are the stains over here, Lieutenant Jones, along the edge of the walk, see?
Yeah. Let me see.
Quite a few stains, huh?
Looks like it might be blood. Try some benzodine on these spots here. There we are. See what happens?
Where's the kid's mother now, Harry?
In the house. Doherty's talking to her.
Did you talk to any of the neighbors?
People next door. One's on this side. They couldn't tell us anything.
There it is, fellas.
Yelly?
These spots I covered with benzodine. They're turning blue. Bloodstains, all right. Can't say definitely whether it's human or animal blood.
Mm-hmm. You have to go back to the lab to run it through?
Yeah, biological precipitin test. Hand me one of those glass vials from my bag, will you?
Yeah. Okay, here you are.
Thanks. Scrape some of these flakes off for a test. There we are.
How soon can you tap the blood for us, Lee?
Precipitin test won't run more than 20 minutes. It'll take 3 or 4 hours to run a blood grouping, though. That's it. Anything else you want to check?
Levinson, anything else?
Oh, right here, my handkerchief. Empty shell. That marker over there by the rose bush, that's where I found it.
From a 22, huh?
Yeah. Might tie in, might not.
Mark it and dump it in this envelope, will you?
Oh, yeah. Shell. There you go.
Did you get out a missing broadcast on the boy, Harry?
Doherty did about half hour ago. Oh, here's a description here.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. Mother know about the bloodstains?
No, we didn't tell her. She's worried enough already.
And she has no idea what might have happened to her boy?
No more than we do. She checked all her friends, relatives. We're covering the neighborhood. No trace so far.
Not much to go on.
Bloodstains, empty cartridge.
Could mean 100 things.
Any ideas, Franny?
Yeah, just one, and I don't like it. 4:30 p.m., Thursday, December 22nd. The neighborhood search for 9-year-old Stanley Johnstone continued. Lee Jones went back to the crime lab to start the precipitant test and the blood grouping. Levinson and his partner Doherty from Highland Juvenile stood by. We called Chief of Detectives Thad Brown, and he ordered up a special detail to aid in the search for the missing boy. Ben and I questioned the boy's mother, Mrs. Ruth Johnstone, a woman in her early 40s. She seemed fairly calm under the circumstances.
Miss Johnstone, is your boy Stan in the habit of wandering off without telling you where he's going?
No, he's not in the habit of wandering off, but he has done it before.
When was the last time, Miss Johnstone?
You don't have any children, do you, Sergeant Friday?
No, I'm not married.
Well, there comes that time in every young boy's life when he feels that it's time to leave home, to go out on his own. Usually happens somewhere around 8 to 10.
I think I know what you mean. I got a boy.
Well, then you know how it is. My husband and I scolded Stanley one day after school, and he was quite put out about it. He thought George and I were unfair. Packed a few of his things and left.
How long was he gone?
Oh, no time at all, about 2 hours. I was worried about him, but my husband said to leave him alone. Said every boy had to go through that stage.
Well, then you think he's run away from home again this time?
Yes, I think so. He's been gone about 4 hours now, and I have a funny feeling about it.
Did you and his father have some misunderstanding with the boy recently?
Well, that's just it. We haven't. I don't mind telling you now that we're talking about it. I am getting worried.
Any place around that he might like to visit? Hobby shop, playground, where he might be?
Yeah, there's Jensen's model shop and little Shanna Burroughs, but I've already called them, and he hasn't been seen all day. I called all his friends. They have no idea where he is either.
We'd like a list of all his friends and the places that he was known to frequent.
Oh, yeah, all right, I'll get them to you. Where do you suppose he is?
Where's your husband now, Miss Johnstone?
Oh, he's at work. George works for the city. He's a fireman.
What house is he stationed at?
Engine Company 12. He's working the A platoon. He'll be home tomorrow morning. I haven't told him that Stanley's gone.
Was there any chance that the boy might be down at the firehouse with his father?
No. No, he seldom goes down there anymore. No, I don't think he's there. I'm awfully worried. May I call my husband?
Certainly. Go right ahead.
I know George will be worried. Stanley's been gone too long. Hello? May I speak with George Johnstone? This is Mrs. Johnstone. Thank you. I hate to call George at his work.
Yes, ma'am.
Does your husband own a gun?
Yes, he does.
What caliber, do you know?
Well, it's a .45 automatic. He got it. George? This is Ruth. George, is Stanley down there with you by any chance? Oh. No, I can't find him anywhere. He hasn't been here when I came home from my shopping. There are 2 policemen here. No, I said there are 2 policemen here. Oh, no, dear. I'll call you if we don't find him soon. All right, dear. Yes, you too. Goodbye. I didn't think he'd be with George.
That .45, is that the only gun in the household?
Wait, yes. Why are you asking about guns? Has anything happened that you're not telling me about?
No, ma'am. Just routine checking. We'll have to take a look at that .45, if you don't mind.
Maybe I should tell you. We do have another gun in the house, but it's all wrapped up. George bought it for Stanley's Christmas present.
May we see it, please?
Well, yes. Will you have to unwrap it?
Yes, I'm afraid so.
I think I can reach it. We had to hide it. Let me see. Oh, here's the paper it was wrapped in. Stanley must have found it. It's gone. See, here's the gift card and the box the gun came in, the rifle.
Can I look at that box, ma'am? Thank you.
How about it, Jim?
.22 caliber. Thursday, December 22nd, 5:15 p.m. It was getting dark. The search for the missing boy continued. We checked the list of Stanley Johnstone's friends. None of them or their parents had any idea of his whereabouts. We talked with Levinson again. He had been in touch with the detail combing the neighborhood. They had found nothing. We went down to Collis Avenue and 10th Street, service station on the corner.
1 nickel, Joe?
No, I got one. You watch for that, huh?
Yeah.
City Hall.
2667, please.
2667.
Crime Lab, Jones.
Hi, Lee. Joe Friday.
Yeah, Joe. Any sign of the Johnson kid?
No, not yet. How are you coming?
Finished the precipitin test. It's human blood.
Yeah?
Working with the blood group now. Do you know what type the Johnson boy has?
Well, we didn't want to upset his mother. We thought we'd wait till the last thing. We're still in the neighborhood.
Check with the family physician. That way you won't disturb.
Yeah, we figured on that. Oh, just a minute, Lee. Yeah, Ben.
Boss just pulled up.
Okay. Thad Brown's out here now. I'll check you later, Lee, huh?
Yeah, right, Joe.
All right, goodbye.
Gentlemen, how's it going?
Just checked with Lee Jones.
Yeah, I know. It's human blood. What do you think?
We talked with the boy's mother, Miss Johnstone. Found a gun missing.
Yeah.
Caliber's the same as the empty casing that Levinson found. 22.
You said the gun was missing.
Yeah, the Johnstones were going to give it to the boy as a Christmas present. They had it hidden, but it's gone now.
Any idea who took it?
Well, they left the Christmas wrapping behind. I think it was the kid.
.22 rifle, huh? 9-year-old boy. When are they going to learn? First, it's carbide cannons on the 4th of July. The city issued ordinance after ordinance, but a few thousand kids around the country had to lose their eyes, fingers, hands before the parents gives us their full cooperation to outlaw them.
I know what you mean.
Sure you do. You and every other cop in the country became the heavies trying to clamp down on them. It's always the same story. This time it's guns for Christmas.
I know what you're thinking, but we're not sure yet.
Listen, Friday, there's a city ordinance against giving a gun to a kid. You know that?
Yes, I know that.
There's a missing boy and a missing gun. There's blood on the ground and an empty shell. That's enough for me.
We're going to stay with it. Something's got to break.
Yeah. I hope it's not the hearts of that kid's parents.
Oh, hi, Chief. I've been looking for you, Friday.
What do you got, Harry?
Found the gun. New .22 rifle. Strong smell of cordite. I'd say it's been recently fired.
Where'd you find it, Levinson?
Back up there in that scrub oak. Up behind the Johnston house. Mrs. Johnstone identified it. Buckley took it down to the crime lab.
Thanks, Harry. Is Miss Johnston okay?
Pretty sick now. Kilby came up with something else.
What's that?
There's another one missing. An 8-year-old boy.
6:30 p.m. We talked with Officer Kilby about the other missing boy. He told us that his name was Stephen Moorheim, 8 years old. His family had just moved into the neighborhood, and it seemed that no one besides the Moorheim family knew that the boys played together. Mrs. Moorheim told us that Stephen told her that he was going out to play and that he'd be home by 6 o'clock for dinner. She told us that he was an unusually prompt boy and almost never overstayed his playtime. We got a description of the Moorheim boy and put out a missing broadcast. We called the Johnstones' family doctor. He told us that Stanley's blood was type O. At 7 p.m., we talked again with Mrs. John Moorheim.
Are you sure Mrs. Johnstone doesn't know where the boys are?
She has no idea, Miss Moorheim.
It's terrible. It's just awful. I feel there's more to this thing. Something you're not telling me.
Well, there's no use to upset you until we know a few things for sure.
Then you are holding back something.
Now, please try not to worry, Ms. Moorheim. There are certain questions we'll have to ask, routine questions in any kind of investigation.
Is there anything else you want to know?
Yes, ma'am. What is your boy's blood type?
That's a funny question. Do you think anything's happened to him? Have you found him and you're not telling me?
No, ma'am, we haven't found him. We don't think anything's happened to him.
His blood type?
Yes, ma'am.
I think I have it written down in Stevie's baby book. Yes, here it is. Type O.
Thank you. What if I might use your phone, please?
Yes, of course. It's in the hall.
I'll be right back, ma'am.
Yeah, okay.
City Hall.
2667, please.
2667.
Crime Lab, Pinker.
Hello, Ray. This is Friday. Lee there?
Just a minute, Joe.
Take 2, Lee.
John speaking.
Checking back, Lee.
Did you get the blood types on the two missing boys?
Yeah, both boys type O.
So were the stains, Joe. Type O.
You are listening to Dragnet for the solution to an actual case from official police files.
8 p.m., Thursday, December 22nd. Still no sign of either of the missing boys. Chief of Detectives Thad Brown went back to headquarters to direct the search from there. He dispatched another detail of 50 men to aid in the hunt for the missing youngsters. 8:30 p.m. It was getting colder. The citrus growers were warned to expect a freeze. We went up the block to see Mrs. Johnstone. Her husband had quit work early and returned home. We talked with him. He could tell us nothing more than we already knew. We still had not informed either of the families about the bloodstains and the empty cartridge casing which had been discovered in the backyard of the Johnstone home. It was more than possible that they had a right to know about our findings, but Ben and I felt that there was no cause to add to the distress of the two families at this time. If the two missing boys were found alive and well, then the bloodstains in the cartridge case would be of no concern to the relieved parents. At 8:40 p.m., Ben and I left the Johnstone house and went to the home of Mr. and Mrs. John Moorheim.
Miss Moorheim, you said your husband worked at a market?
Yes. He telephoned about 15 minutes ago and said he was closing up right away. He'll be here any minute. I do wish Stevie would call or come home. It's so cold out tonight. All he had on was a thin cotton jacket.
Please try not to worry. We're doing everything we can. He's going to be all right.
Stevie's father's such a sensitive man. He and the boy are so close. I know he's terribly upset.
No, you're sure there's no place you might have forgotten? Someplace where the boy might be?
No place. No. If anything happened to the boy, it'll just kill John.
No.
You sit still. I'll get it, Miss Moorheim.
Joe?
Hi, Harry.
The Johnstone kid. He's been found.
Oh, he's home, Sergeant. He's come home. Thank God he's all right.
Where's he been? Did he tell you?
No, he didn't. His clothes were all dirty and he's acting strange. I've never seen him like this.
How do you mean, Miss Johnson?
Well, he just came in the front door and said, "Hello, Mom," and then he sat down in a chair and stared at the floor. He won't talk to his father or me.
Do you mind if I talk to him?
No, go ahead. I asked him about the little Moorheim boy and he wouldn't tell me a thing.
Where is he now?
In the living room.
Looks all right.
Yes. Son, this is a police officer. He wants to talk to you. Now, don't be afraid, dear. He only wants to ask you some questions. Son. You see, Sergeant?
Stanley, come on, look at me, son. Get your head up, youngster. Come on, now that's better. I had your mother pretty worried, you know that? You want to tell us where you've been?
I wish you'd try to get him to eat a little something.
You hear that, son? Want something to eat? Stanley, there's another little boy up the street who hasn't come home. Do you know where he is? His father and mother are worried about him, too, just like your folks were. You've got to help us find him, son.
I killed him. I killed Steve with the .22. We were only playing. But I killed him.
How do you know you killed him? Maybe he's only hurt. Now, isn't that it?
No, he's dead. I know he's dead. The gun went off. We forgot we put bullets in there.
Where is he, Stanley?
I hid him. I was scared. I didn't want anybody to find him.
Where did you hide him, son?
In a cave up on the hill. I didn't mean it. It was my pal.
You want to show us where, son?
Yes, I'll show you. Please don't send me to jail.
9:15 p.m., Thursday, December 22nd. 9-year-old Stanley Johnstone led the way up the hill behind the backyard of his home. He showed us the wagon he moved the body in. His father came along with us. About 50 feet from the crest of the hill, the boy pointed to a thicket of scrub oak. There we found a small cave holding the body of Stephen Moorheim. There was a single bullet wound in his chest just below his heart. He was dead. We covered the body.
Stanley, how did it happen?
I knew my folks were going to give me the gun for Christmas. I knew where it was, and I got it. There was a box of bullets with it.
Were you pointing the gun at Stephen?
No, sir. No, sir, I wasn't. It was Steve's turn to play with it. I was chasing him. He tripped over the stump there in our backyard and fell. The gun hit him in the stomach, and it went off.
Why do you think you killed him if you're telling us the truth?
I'm telling the truth, honest. That's the truth.
All right, I believe you, son, but why do you think you killed him?
It was my gun. Steve would still be alive if I didn't go and get it. I should have waited till Christmas. It's all my fault.
Where have you been all this time?
In the cave with Steve.
What were you doing in there, son?
I was praying. I was praying for God to make him alive again.
After a thorough investigation, Ben and I were convinced that the shooting of Stephen Moorheim was accidental. Lieutenant Lee Jones' findings substantiated the Johnstone boy's story even to the smallest detail. We put in a call to the coroner's office and acquainted him with the facts. He designated a local mortuary to handle the body pending autopsy and granted us permission to remove the body to the Moorheim home. Mrs. Moorheim collapsed. The family doctor was called. Ben and I sat in the living room to wait for John Moorheim, the dead boy's father.
Edith! Edith!
Mr. Moorheim?
Yes. You the police?
Yes, sir.
Where's Edith? Where's my wife? Has my boy come home? Have you found him?
Yes, sir.
Oh, where is he? Steve! Stevie! Where's Steve? He's hurt, isn't he?
Yes, sir.
Oh, where is he? I want to see him.
He's hurt bad, Mr. Moorheim.
Oh, where is he? I want to see him.
He's in his room. Pretty bad.
He's dead. All right if I go in?
If you want to.
Will you go with me?
Sure. Don't make it any harder on yourself, Mr. Morheim.
I want to see my boy.
Mr. Morheim.
Stevie. Listen to me, son. We've got you a lot of nice things for Christmas. Everything you wanted. I got you those 3 new cars for the train. The one with the searchlights really works. Son, you got that new switch you wanted to it. A lot more try. Oh, now you can have a big layout. You know that new baseball that you saw? Well, I got it for you. That cowboy outfit you wanted, I got it too.
Mr. Morheim. Come on, Joe.
What happened?
It was an accident. He was playing with the Johnstone boy up the street. Playing with a gun. He went off.
What was the other boy's name?
Stanley Johnston. It was an accident.
Mr. Morheim, where are you going?
I want to see that boy.
We had no idea what the dead boy's father had in mind. We didn't feel that we should try to restrain him. We went along with him up the street to the Johnstone home.
I'm Stevie's father. Where's your boy?
I'm sorry.
Where's your boy?
He's right here. Won't you come in?
It's all right, Miss Johnston.
You the boy that was with Stevie?
Yes, sir.
What's your name?
Stanley.
Stanley. I know it wasn't your fault, Stanley. I wonder if you'd do something for me.
Yes, sir.
I've got a lot of nice presents for Stevie. I know he'd want you to have them. I want to give them to you. Christmas Eve.
Mom?
I think that would be a fine idea, son.
Come on, Ben.
Well, what does it all prove, Joe?
You don't give a kid a gun for Christmas.
The story you have just heard was true. Only the names were changed to protect the innocent.
On December 24th, 1948, a coroner's inquest was held in the county morgue, city and county of Los Angeles, state of California. In a moment, the results of that inquest. At At the coroner's inquest, it was officially recorded that Stephen Morheim's death was the result of an accident. Stanley Johnstone, age 9, was absolved of any legal responsibility for his friend's death. You have just heard Dragnet, a new series of authentic cases from official files. Technical advice for Dragnet comes from the Office of Acting Chief of Police W.A. Wharton, Los Angeles Police Department.
Dragnet honors Hennepin County, Minneapolis, state of Minnesota, and the men of the Hennepin County Sheriff's Office, another of America's great law enforcement agencies. One of these men, Sheriff Ed Ryan, veteran police officer and department administrator, who dedicates his life to making yours more secure.
Fatima Cigarettes, the best of all long cigarettes, has brought you Dragnet, portion transcribed from Los Angeles.
Be sure to hear songs by Morton Downey tonight on NBC.
Ladies and gentlemen, the material and quotations included in the following program have been taken directly from news dispatches off the wires of Associated Press, United Press, and International News Service. This news material is presented for your information without editorial comment.
From San Francisco, the American Broadcasting Company presents 1 out of 7. 24 hours make a day, 7 days make 1 week. And from these past 7 days, the editors here in our San Francisco newsroom have chosen the one story which they have judged most worthy of retelling. This is 1 out of 7.
Spring has come back again to the land of free men. And all up and down the nation, in the quiet suburbs, in the town and village, beneath blankets of young spring stars, free men sing their songs onto the night air, sharp with the smells of wet, green grass, heavy with omens of nourishing rains soon to come. Yes, it is a wonderful thing to live in a land where men are equal, where men are brothers. It is truly a most wonderful thing. And all the more precious does it become when we realize that only a few years ago, in ravaged cities far beyond our eastern coast, this was the order of events.
Lieutenant. Clear away the bodies from the wall. Come along. Faster. We haven't all night. Line up another dozen of the Jewish animals against the wall. Fast, fast. That is it. Juden, swine. Soon they will all be gone. We must make it clear that we are the masters. Achtung. Ready. Aim. Fire. That is good. Clear them away. Skip along there. Bring up another dozen. Move. We haven't all night to know.
Yes, it is a wonderful thing to live in a land where all men are brothers. Truly a wonderful thing. But in one small American town, a young Negro, too active politically to suit his white neighbors, is dragged from his home to a field on the outskirts of the town. There he is fastened to cross-like posts. His clothes are ripped from his body. A man with a huge whip advances toward him.
All right, Negro. Maybe this will teach you to keep some of your equality ideas to yourself this time. You know, a few swats across your hide with this should convince you that we're the bosses down here. All right, boys, come on, men. Give me room. Stand back. All right, Negro. Here you are. And this. And once more. You ought to learn now. I'll teach you.
Spring has come back again to the land of free men. And all up and down the nation, in the quiet suburbs, in the town and the village, free men sing their songs onto the quiet night air, crammed with promise for better things and better times to come.
It's not far, just close by, through an open door. Work all done, care laid by, going to
It is a wonderful thing to live in a land where a man does not fear because of his creed, where a man may cast his vote for what he believes in. Yes, it is truly a most wonderful thing. But last week, in the city of Birmingham, Alabama. A Negro college graduate mounts the steps of Jefferson County Courthouse, makes his way down a long marble corridor, and enters the office of the Registrar of Voters. There, as provided by Alabama state law, the young Negro takes the voter's registration test. He explains intelligently and comprehensively the Constitution of the United States, translates on sight a very difficult passage of French, undergoes more tedious cross-examination. Finally, he is asked,
"All right, boy. Here you are. Read what it says here in this Greek newspaper."
The young student studies the paper for a moment, and then he replies, Why, it says here that Negroes can't vote in the state of Alabama.
That's absolutely correct, boy. You sure have caught on.
Now listen. If you'll just step out that door you came in and slam it behind you. In the neighboring state of Mississippi, in the small town of Tupelo, Reverend James Parsons filed his candidacy for the United States House of Representatives to oppose incumbent Congressman John Rankin. Immediately thereafter, the insurance on the church in which Reverend Parsons has served for 25 years is canceled. Reverend Parsons' daughter is a school teacher, so her teacher certificate is immediately taken away. Reverend Parsons' son is away at Howard University for Negroes in Washington, and he is warned by telegram,
"Your old man has fixed you good. Now don't try to come back to Tupelo if you know what's good for you. You got that?"
Finally, one Sunday evening, after evening services at his church, Reverend Parsons is standing at the door to the vestibule when a group of men approach him.
Good evening, gentlemen. What may I do for you?
I'll tell you what you can do for us. You can get out of town. Get out of town and get out fast. And don't try to come back, or we'll lynch you sure.
Spring has come back to the earth again, to the land of free men, and all up and down the nation, free men sing their songs onto the quiet night air, heavy with omens of nourishing rains to come.
Dead, let my people go. Go down, Moses, way down in people go.
The script for 1 out of 7 is written by James Edward Moser. Gil Dowd was the producer. Music is by Otto Clare at the Hammond. All characters are portrayed by Jack Webb. Featured tonight was Joseph James, baritone. Tonight's presentation was based on reports taken from authoritative files and from dispatches off the wires of Associated Press, United Press, and International News Service. Listen again next week, same time, same station for
1 out of 7.
John Galbraith speaking. This is ABC, the American Broadcasting Company.
Ladies and gentlemen, for a more authentic presentation, portions of the program you are about to hear were actually recorded on the scene.
The story you are about to hear is true. Only the names have been changed to protect the innocent.
Fatima Cigarettes, best of all long cigarettes, brings you Dragnet.
You're a detective sergeant. You're assigned to robbery detail. A gang of hold-up men have been running loose in your city. They've committed more than a dozen robberies. They're heavily armed, quick to shoot. Your job, stop them.
If you want a long cigarette, smoke the best of all long cigarettes. Smoke Fatima. Fatima is the long cigarette which contains the finest Turkish and domestic tobaccos superbly blended to make Fatima extra mild. And that's why Fatima has a much different, much better flavor and aroma than any other long cigarette. That's why Fatima is doubling and redoubling its smokers. So, if you want a long cigarette, smoke the best of all long cigarettes. Smoke Fatima.
Dragnet, the documented drama of an actual crime. For the next 30 minutes, in cooperation with the Los Angeles Police Department, you will travel step by step on the side of the law through an actual case from official police files. From beginning to end, from crime to punishment, Dragnet is the story of your police force in action.
It was Saturday, July 21st. It was hot in Los Angeles. We were working the night watch out of robbery detail. My partner's Ben Romero. The boss is Thad Brown, chief of detectives. My name's Friday. I was on the way back from the record bureau, and it was 6:55 p.m. when I got to room 27A. Robbery detail.
Hi, Joe, you ready?
Let's go.
Where'll I dump this top coat? There. It's too hot out tonight for that.
Yeah, the rest of the guys take off already?
Yeah, we better hustle.
How many men are working this thing tonight?
Must be at least 50, covering every drugstore in the South Central area.
Which one did we draw?
Naomi in South Alameda, Rex Pharmacy.
Yeah.
Parking lot across the street. We can cover the pharmacy from there.
We better check out a Thompson from the business office first, huh?
That's a good idea. We might as well be ready. They are.
Who got the tip the gang was moving into the south end of town?
It's Johnny Powers, one of his informants.
Okay, here we are.
Business office, Blair. Yeah, I'll take care of it. Thanks.
Hey, Blair, do you want to check out a Thompson for us?
Okay, Friday. Heavy duty?
Yeah, kind of.
There's a sign-out book.
Thank you.
Hey, you might as well give us a shotgun while you're at it, Blair.
Okay. Check these out for an hour. Sounds like a busy night for you fellas.
Maybe.
Thompson's okay. So the shotgun.
Want to sign up for the shotgun too, Joe?
Yeah, okay. 1 Thompson submachine gun, 1 shotgun. You got those serial numbers there, Blair?
Yeah. Thompson 67811.
67811. Yeah.
Shotgun 655228.
5228. Okay. Signed, Joe Friday. Serial number 2288. Ben Romero. What's your serial number, Ben?
2633.
Oh, yeah. 33.
6 shells for the shotgun, 50 shells for the Thompson, okay?
All right, I'll sign for him. Okay.
Gang's pretty rough, I understand. Gun heavy.
Yeah, that's what they tell us. Okay. Here's the book, all signed.
Okay. Here you go. A lot of firepower there.
Yeah. Hope you don't have to clean them when we bring them back. We went down to the basement of the city hall, picked up our car, 80K, and drove out to Naomi and South Alameda streets. We located the parking lot and pulled in. There were 4 other cars parked in the lot so we wouldn't be conspicuous. Ben and I got in the back seat out of the light. From our vantage point, we had a clear view of the entrance to the Rex Pharmacy across the street. We had the shotgun and the submachine gun on the seat beside us. We listened to the calls coming on the radio, and we waited.
13J, stand by. There's no cooler here than it is in the office.
Yeah. Hot and sticky, huh?
Yeah. Paper says it's going to be worse tomorrow.
Roll down your window, will you, and get some air in here?
Yeah, huh?
The pharmacy isn't doing much business. Not more than a dozen people in there in the last hour.
No soda fountain, I guess. Sure is hot.
You have to talk about it, huh?
It helps.
What time you got?
10 minutes to 10.
No smoke?
No, thanks.
Yeah, I'll get it. That gang's gonna show up here. Wish they'd get it over with.
Fellas might have got a bum tip.
Well, the gang hasn't missed a weekend for 2 months.
I wonder how much time the average cop spends waiting.
I don't know. Put it all together and make a fine vacation. What do we do, sit this out till the pharmacy closes?
Yeah, 2 a.m. Sure is hot.
Yeah. Midnight came and passed. The traffic on South Alameda thinned out. Only an occasional customer entered the pharmacy across the street. Ben kept complaining about the heat. We waited.
Well, that's it, Joe. There go the lights. Drugstore's closing.
Yeah, the guy's locking the doors. There he goes.
We might as well shove off, too.
Yeah. Let's get in the front seat.
There's not much call for this shotgun tonight.
There's no use checking it in. Same duty to mine, eh?
Attention all units. All units in the vicinity of 8th Hill, on the corner of Hill and Geneva Alley, and 211 and Shooting. Code 3.
Hit the light. Yeah, come on, let's roll. Sunday, July 22nd, 2:15 a.m. Ben and I pulled up at the Merchant Security Trust Company on the corner of South Hill and Geneva Alley. 2 patrol cars were already on the scene, and 4 uniformed officers were trying to keep back a crowd of people who had gathered at the top of a flight of marble stairs which led off the street, down one flight to the bank's night depository. At the bottom of the stairs, an elderly man was sprawled out, face down, his right arm twisted under him. The man was dead. Ben counted 5 bullet wounds in the victim's back. We interviewed the only witness, a young sailor.
My name's Vasey, Sergeant. Don Vasey, quartermaster, 2nd class. Here's my ID card.
You saw the shooting, Vasey?
I was about a half a block away. I just came out of the bar down the street there, the Top Hat.
Yeah?
Had a couple of beers, then I left and I started walking back to the hotel.
When was that?
About 5 after 2.
Go on.
Well, before I got to the corner, I saw this man ahead of me. He crossed the street and headed over for the bank. Then this car pulled up and some guys got out. They ran over to the man and it looked like they were frisking him.
Yeah?
All of a sudden, I heard shots. The man ran for the stairs here, and it looked like he stumbled and fell. A bunch of guys jumped back in the car and drove away.
What'd you do then?
I ran up to see what I could do for the old man. He was lying down there where he is now. Nothing I could do for him. I yelled for a cop.
Did you get a look at the men in that car?
No, I just saw them from a distance. 4 of them, maybe 5.
What about the car? Did you see the license number?
The last couple of numbers, that's all. 699. Couldn't see the rest.
What was it, a coupe or sedan?
A sedan, maroon color. It was a Pontiac, either 1940 or 41.
You sure about that?
I used to own one back in Delaware, 1940 model. I sold it to my brother when I went in the Navy. I'm sure all right.
And you're sure about the number of men in the car?
Oh, yes, sir. 4 or 5, no more.
I see, thanks. Well, will you drive back to the office with us and give us a full statement?
Sure, Sergeant. Anything you say.
You can wait in the car, Vasey. We won't be long.
Sure.
Well, what do you think?
I don't know.
Drugstore gang?
Said there were 4 guys. Could be. No description.
Maroon car. 3 numbers off the license plate.
Pretty thin.
Yeah, looks like a hard summer. We completed our preliminary investigation. The coroner arrived and the body was taken to the county morgue in the basement of the Hall of Justice. The victim was identified as Walter Conroy, the proprietor of the Flowerland Dance Hall on South Hill Street. Together with officers Fremont and Hurst from homicide, Ben and I spent most of Sunday tracking down employees of the dance hall and interviewing them. We sent a rush teletype to the Department of Motor Vehicles in Sacramento containing the partial license number, plus our scan information on the car, which the suspects drove. Early Monday afternoon, Ben and I, along with Captain Ed Walker of Robbery Detail, met with Chief of Detectives Thad Brown.
What kind of a motive are you working on?
Robbery. The dance hall manager, Conroy, was on his way to the bank's night depository when this bunch caught up with him. He had the night's receipts with him from the dance hall.
How much they got, Walker?
$350. They missed over 1,000 Conroy had in an inside pocket.
No idea who pulled the stick up?
It could have been that drugstore gang.
Why them?
We haven't missed working a weekend night for 2 months. There's no sign of any other job that they might have pulled Saturday.
Just a hunch, Chief. Nothing to go on. We'll have to guess our way for a while.
Sacramento checking the description of the car, the numbers off the license plate?
Yeah, ought to have an answer this afternoon.
Any leads on the drugstore gang at all?
Plenty. None of them good. Suspects are loaded down with guns. That's all we know.
Excuse me. Brown speaking. Just a minute. Friday speaking.
Oh, thanks. Reach over here. Friday. Yeah, Ralph. How many? Yeah. Okay, thank you. Oh, I got an answer from DMV, Sacramento, about the hold-up car.
What'd they say, Joe?
Well, they looked up the possible combinations of 1940 or 41 Pontiac sedans with the number 699 on the license plate.
Yeah?
123 possibles to check.
Not much choice.
No car of that description on the hot list. Killer might be the legal owners.
123.
Well, even after we check them, we still might not have the right party.
That's right. If we got a better lead, we'll work on it.
Nope.
Well, then ride this till it falls apart.
For the next 13 days, Ben and I, Fremont and Hurst from homicide, plus a half a dozen other men, hacked away at the list of 123 car registrations, any one of which could have been issued to the hold-up car. The color of the sedan didn't help us much to start with, since California vehicle registrations do not include the colors of the cars. After 14 days of gradual elimination of possibles, the field was narrowed to 6, then 4, and then 2. August 6th, Monday, 5:30 p.m. Ben and I were called to Thad Brown's office.
Gentlemen, you check out that last possible yet?
About 20 minutes ago. It didn't pan out.
What about Hurst and Fremont? They had one left.
Right here. Could be the answer.
Yeah.
1940 Pontiac sedan, license number 4XA699. Last registration, San Diego.
Sounds good.
We teletyped to San Diego police. They say the car's been sold to a woman out in Santa Monica.
Anyone checked her?
Well, that's what I want you two for.
San Diego and Santa Monica. Well, it's in the right area.
Can't afford to miss now. I hope it's the right one.
Well, it's got to be. Check it.
Ben and I checked the woman in Santa Monica, Mrs. Fielding. She told us that she had sold the car 6 months before to a friend who lived in Bakersfield. We contacted her friend. He told us the car had been traded in by him to an auto dealer in Pasadena. We checked the dealer. He said the car had been sold off his used car lot 2 months before. The new buyer had given his name as Emil Thurston. 2 names were given as reference, Lloyd Newton and John Lacombe. We ran a routine check through the record bureau.
Ran them through, fellas. Here's the packages.
Get a make for him?
On all 3.
What'd you find on Thurston?
Let's see. Thurston, 2-time loser, second time up to Q on 5 counts of armed robbery. On parole from Quentin now.
How about the other 2?
Lacombe, let's see. Preston Reformatory, 2 terms. Went up 3 years ago, violation of Dyer Act. He's on parole, too.
What about Newton? Did you make him?
2 terms in Oklahoma. They're looking for him now. He's on parole.
Can I look at that just a minute, Frank?
Sure.
Let's have all 3 of them. Take a look, Ben. Each one of the mama sheets on these 3 guys.
Yeah.
All right. Right here under General M.O. See?
Mm-hmm. Thurston, heavily armed at time of arrest.
Yeah. This one, Lacombe. Huh?
Heavily armed.
This one on Newton. Same thing.
Gun happy.
Yeah. Come on. At the time he purchased the car, suspect Emil Thurston listed his home address as 1517 North Hoover Avenue. Previous robbery victims positively identified Thurston and his companions. At 1517 North Hoover, the landlady also identified Thurston and his companions as tenants. She told us they drove a red sedan and they parked the car at a Temple Street garage. An immediate stakeout was placed on the apartment house, and we started the canvass of Temple Street garages from Hoover Avenue down to Rampart Boulevard. At 4 p.m., Ben spotted the car in Donnelly's garage on Temple Street near Michigan Drive. The garage attendant told us that the owner of the car had given his name as Emil Thurston. We showed him the mug shots.
Yeah, used to park his car in here a while back. Then he came in yesterday morning with these 2 guys and said he wanted a paint job.
Doesn't look like he needs a paint job to me.
They offered me $20 extra if I do it in a hurry. He wants the car painted green.
When's he going to call for the car?
About 10 o'clock tonight. These jobs take time. He's not going to like it if the car's not finished.
He won't like it if it is. Come on, Ben.
You are listening to Dragnet, authentic stories of your police force in action. Now, here is an authentic report from Fatima Cigarettes.
In 1949, Fatima doubled, tripled, and quadrupled its smokers. In 1950, enjoy Fatima yourself.
You'll find Fatima extra mild.
Because Fatima is the long cigarette which contains the finest Turkish and domestic tobacco superbly blended to make Fatima extra mild.
You'll find Fatima tastes much better.
Fatima's superb blend gives you a much different, much better flavor and aroma than any other long cigarette.
You'll find Fatima tops in cigarette quality.
Fatima has always stood for the best in cigarette quality. For a new year of greater smoking enjoyment, buy Fatima in the appealing golden yellow package. You'll agree, Fatima is the best of all long cigarettes.
7 p.m. Tuesday, August 7th. Chief of Detectives Thad Brown and Captain Ed Walker swung the entire robbery detail into action. The stakeout at the apartment house on North Hoover continued. An additional detail of men was stationed in a vacant store on Temple Street directly opposite Donnelly's garage. Donnelly's garage was a small family outfit, and the only spot from which we could cover it thoroughly without being seen was from a large paint locker set up against the right wall. The garage man cleared enough room so that Ben and I could fit into the locker in a half-stoop position. 2 small latches were rigged up so that we could pull the doors closed from the inside. 4 ventilation holes at the top and bottom of the doors provided us with peepholes. At 8 o'clock that night, Ben and I took our places inside the locker. The trap was set. We waited.
Can you see all right, Joe?
Yeah. It's hot in here. Stale air.
It's a tight fit. I'm getting a cramp in my shoulder.
What time did that garage man say he closed?
11 o'clock. It's lousy paint smells.
Stuff it, man.
Hey, that car pulling in. Can you see the driver?
Wait a minute. It's nothing. Somebody getting gas.
Hope they show up. Wouldn't want this to go on another night.
Well, don't count on it.
Foot's going to sleep.
Why don't you stand still? What time you got?
Let me see. Get the light on in here. 10 minutes to 9.
Thanks. The popular conception of the working detective rarely includes a glimpse of his everyday run-of-the-mill duties. filling out forms, conducting interviews, or waiting long, monotonous hours parked in a car or standing half-crouched in a garage paint locker. It's slow, dull, and tedious, and it's 95% of the police officer's job. By 10 o'clock that night, there was still no sign of Thurston and his friends. The cramped locker got more cramped with the passing minutes. The air was thick with paint fumes. We waited. At 10:55, a taxi pulled to a stop in front of the garage. 3 men got out.
You see him, Joe?
Wait till they step into the light. There's another guy still in the cab.
Here he comes. There's the first guy.
Yeah, it's Thurston.
Fourth guy's getting out of the cab.
That looks like Newton, doesn't it?
That's him.
Yeah, it's Lacombe right behind. Fat guy. Here they come.
Sure do look the part.
All right. Unlatch your door, but don't open it.
Yo.
Quiet, Ben. What's the matter?
That latch is stuck. Wait a minute.
Did you get it?
No, it's really stuck.
All right, tap it with your gun stock. Come on, easy.
There it is. It's loose.
Good. Can you see where they are now?
Yeah. Talking to the garage man. Not looking this way.
No, they just stay that way, huh? You ready?
Okay.
Don't tip them off till we're right on top of them. Let them get away from that garage man, huh?
Right.
All right. Let's go. Approximately 25 or 30 yards separated us from the suspects. I glanced across Temple Street at the vacant store where Thad Brown and the other men were staked out. 25 yards is a long way to walk when you're approaching a murderer, and you know that he won't hesitate to kill you in order to escape. Ben flipped the safety off the machine gun. We were almost halfway across the garage, 15 yards away. Thurston turned and saw us.
Look out, Joe! I got one of them.
They ducked behind the car, went up the stairs. 3 of them.
Come on. Where'd they go?
Up the stairs.
Up this way, Joe.
Yeah, watch it, Ben. Get out.
They're somewhere back in that corner up there.
You're trapped. Throw down your gun. All right, Ben, give it over. Throw down your guns. Throw them down.
There's 3 of them.
6 of them. All right, now come on down with your hands behind your head. Cover me, Ben. I'll frisk them.
Right. You up on the end. Get your hands back of your head.
All right, stand still. All right, next one. Go on. Clean. All right. Look home.
Watch him, John. All right, you. Rest of you, stand back. Keep your hands up. You all right, Joe?
Yeah. 2 more guns on him.
All right, you 2. Hold it. Here comes the chief.
Yeah. I'll get these guns together.
Lacombe. He's not much of a fighter.
Not without a gun. The suspects were booked at different divisions to keep them separated. Emil Thurston and Lloyd Newton were taken to Hollenbeck Park and booked on suspicion of armed robbery and murder. John Lacombe was booked at Highland Park Jail on the same charges. The other suspect, who had been wounded in the escape attempt, was identified as Harold Steves, 19 years old. He was treated for a leg wound at Georgia Street Receiving Hospital and then transferred to the prison ward at the county hospital. During the next 2 days, each of the suspects was questioned individually. Thurston, Lacombe, and Newton would admit nothing. The 19-year-old Steves broke down and agreed to turn state's evidence. We took his statement to Chief of Detectives Thad Brown.
Gentlemen, what did the boy tell you?
Just about everything, boss. They pulled the drugstore holdups and they killed that dance hall owner, Walter Conroy.
Which one of them?
Well, the kid says Thurston shot him. He says Thurston's the gang leader.
Good. You finally got a count on those guns you took off them?
Yeah, 12 of them. Each one of them was ready to go, bullet in every chamber.
Did you get a complaint from the DA's office yet?
They were arraigned. Preliminary hearing set for Monday.
Fine. You got them in jail. I'll put them in prison.
The apprehension of the criminal doesn't mean the end of a case for a police officer. He spends just as much time helping to convict the criminal after he's caught. Evidence must be gathered and authenticated and presented to the district attorney's office. If confessions are possible, they must be obtained and put in order. The officer must also help out in formulating the case and in testifying at the trial of the suspect. On October 30th, almost 3 months after the Thurston gang was apprehended, they were brought to trial in Superior Court. It was a routine affair. Harold Steves took the stand and told the story of the gang's activities. The victims identified the suspects and testified to the robberies. Both Ben and I took the stand and testified to the arrest and possession of guns by the defendants. We received no cross-examination. On the morning of March 2nd, the case went to the jury. Ben and I had lunch with Lieutenant Rombo from robbery in the City Hall cafeteria, and it was 5 minutes past 1 when we got back to the office.
Well, it sure was good soup today.
Yeah, it was a nice lunch. You want to check the mail?
I didn't yet.
Oh, I'll get it. Robbery Friday. Yeah? When? Right. Lacombe and Thurston. They just broke jail. Within 7 minutes, a dragnet for the escaped criminals had been thrown around the entire city. Chief of Detectives Thad Brown directed the operation. At 14 minutes past 1, he called us to the photocopy room. The machines were turning out duplicate mug shots of Thurston and Lacombe for distribution at the rate of 1 every 4 seconds.
You want us to stand by, Chief?
For the moment, yeah. We got all the help we need on the street.
How'd they pull the break, anyway?
Slugged the deputy when he brought in their lunch. Used a steel leg from one of the benches in the prisoner's tank.
Yeah?
And they beat the deputy right into the ground, but he held on to Newton. He didn't get away.
How'd Thurston and Lacombe ever get out of the building?
He's a real freak. They slugged the elevator man and got down to the basement. Right then, an ambulance crew was wheeling a body into the morgue. The attendant left the ignition keys in the ambulance.
Shouldn't be too rough to track them if they're in an ambulance.
Tougher than you think.
How those copies coming, Frank? Fast as we can make them, Chief. I have another batch for you in a minute.
You had any reports at all yet, boss?
Couple. They're moving fast.
Frank, you want to get that? I can't see in this dark room.
Yeah, I'll get it. Yeah?
Chief Brown in there?
Yeah, come on in.
Now, Walker, what do you got?
Chute dry, will it?
Oh, yeah. Now, what do you got?
Gas station out on Sunset. Lacombe and Thurston just held it up.
We picked up our car in the City Hall garage and drove out to the service station on the corner of Sunset Boulevard and Lorraine Drive. Detectives Ruiz and Stromwall from robbery were already on the scene. The two escapees had abandoned the ambulance there, robbed the station of $56 in currency, and stolen a 1938 gray Packard coupe, license number 7 Robert 6336. We left the station and started to cruise the area. It was 1:55 p.m.
Attention all units. Attention all units.
Get it up, Joe.
Yeah.
6380 North Sunset at 211 in progress. 6380 North Sunset at 211 in progress. Code 3.
This is the 6100 block.
Yeah, come on.
At 6380 North.
Yes, look. Maybe. Push it. Hey, that car pulling out up ahead there.
A gray coupe.
Wait a minute. 7 Robert, that's them.
Lights changing. They can't make it.
They're going through. They're skidding.
They hit the lamppost. Broke it off.
All right, pull up. Come on.
Right.
All right, let's go.
Lucky if they live through this one.
Yeah. All right, come on. Help me with this door.
Yeah, all right.
Pull. All right, can you take him?
Yeah.
I'll get Lacombe.
You look okay?
Yep. Get Thurston out of here.
Right. Come on, you. Come on. Yeah.
All right, Lacombe, come on.
I'll give you a gun. I'll kill you.
Oh, sure you will. Come on.
I'll kill you.
All right, don't try to walk. How's Thurston, Ben?
Seems okay. Couple of scratches.
All right, sit down over there.
Lacombe slugged the guard.
It's funny. They don't look very tough.
They can't play their part. They haven't got their guns.
The story you have just heard was true. Only the names were changed to protect the innocent.
On March 3rd, 1947, trial was held in Superior Court, Department 91, City and County of Los Angeles, State of California. In a moment, the results of that trial.
It's amazing how many long cigarette smokers are changing to Fatima. Here are the actual figures. New York Division.
Fatima sales up 132%.
Chicago Division.
Fatima sales up 453%.
Los Angeles Division.
Fatima sales up 545%.
Yes, in 1949, more and more smokers discovered that Fatima is the best of all long cigarettes.
They found Fatima extra mild.
They found Fatima has a much different, much better flavor.
They found the name Fatima means the best in cigarette quality.
In 1950, enjoy Fatima yourself. best of all long cigarettes.
Emil Thurston, John Lacombe, and Lloyd Newton were convicted of first-degree murder and robbery and sentenced to life terms. For turning state's evidence, 19-year-old Harold Steves received special consideration. As a result of the jailbreak, Thurston and Lacombe were convicted of assault and escape. They are now serving life terms in the state penitentiary. You have just heard Dragnet, a new series of authentic cases from official files. Technical advice for Dragnet comes from the Office of Acting Chief of Police W.A. Wharton, Los Angeles Police Department.
Dragnet honors the city of Pasadena, state of California, and the men who make up the Pasadena Police Force, another of America's great law enforcement agencies. One of these men, Chief of Police Clarence H. Morris, traffic specialist and veteran police administrator, dedicates his life to making yours more secure.
Fatima Cigarettes, the best of all long cigarettes, has brought you Dragnet, portion transcribed from Los Angeles.
Be sure to hear songs by Morton Downey tonight on NBC.
Ladies and gentlemen, the story you are about to hear is true. Only the names have been changed to protect the innocent.
Fatima Cigarettes, best of all long cigarettes, brings you Dragnet.
You're a detective sergeant. You're assigned to robbery detail. 2 armed bandits have robbed a large jewelry store in your city. One of the suspects escapes. One is apprehended. He's identified as a friend of yours. Your job, send him to prison.
If you want a long cigarette, smoke the best of all long cigarettes. Smoke Fatima. Fatima is the long cigarette which contains the finest Turkish and domestic tobaccos superbly blended to make Fatima extra mild. And that's why Fatima has a much different, much better flavor and aroma than any other long cigarette. That's why Fatima is doubling and redoubling its smokers. So, if you want a long cigarette, smoke the best of all long cigarettes. Smoke Fatima.
Dragnet, the documented drama of an actual crime. For the next 30 minutes, in cooperation with the Los Angeles Police Department, you will travel step by step on the side of the law through an actual case from official police files. From beginning to end, from crime to punishment, Dragnet is the story of your police force in action.
It was Tuesday, February 8th. It was cold in Los Angeles. We were working a night watch out of robbery detail. My partner's Ben Romero. The boss is Thad Brown, chief of detectives. My name's Friday. I was on the way over from the city hall, and it was 8:35 p.m. when I got to the second floor of the Georgia Street Receiving Hospital. Treatment room.
Joe, hi.
Hi, Doc. Ben, how's it going?
Okay. It hurt for a while. Doc gave me an injection.
1/6 of a grain of morphine, Novocaine injection.
The bullet still in your shoulder?
Doc's about ready to take it out.
As soon as I get the wound cleaned, here's the soap and water nurse. Alcohol sponge, please.
How's it look, Doctor?
Well, there's the x-ray. Shallow penetrating wound in the deltoid area. Sludge, larger than the soft tissue right here.
Oh, yeah.
No bone involvement. Lucky the bullet was spent.
That's good. Feel okay?
Sure.
Nurse, methylate applicators, please. Thanks. Let's see now.
Where'd you leave Tyler, Joe?
Interrogation room. Reynolds and Thompson are with him.
Let me have the probe, nurse. Yeah. Feel anything, Romero?
No.
That's it. You hear that?
Hear what?
Located the slug with a probe.
Oh.
Nurse, faucet. Thanks. Here we go. Oh, steady.
You call your wife?
No, she don't worry.
Here it is, boys. On the market for evidence?
Yeah, give it to me, will you? I will.
Nurse, sterile saline solution. Irrigate the wound.
No sign of Tyler's partner, huh, Joe? Guy got me?
No, not yet, no.
Sterile dressings, please.
How long did you know this Tyler? Before he went wrong with me.
I met him in the Army, helped him line up a job when he got out. It's too bad.
Sure is funny. Meeting a friend of yours pulled an armed robbery. Must have surprised you, huh?
Yeah, kind of. You want me to drive you home when the doc's finished, yeah?
Let's go back to the office and talk to Tyler first.
Okay. Is that all right, Doc?
No. You're staying right here, Romero, till tomorrow morning. If you haven't got a temperature by then, I might release her.
Oh, it's only a flesh wound, Doc. I feel all right.
I'm not taking any chances with gunshot wounds. If infection set in and you were laid up, I'd have the pension committee to answer to. You're staying here.
Sounds like an order.
It is. You can pick them up in the P&F floor tomorrow morning.
Okay. You going to need anything, Ben?
Yeah. I phoned to tell my wife I won't be home for dinner.
His name was Max Tyler, white, male American, age 32. Dark hair, brown eyes, medium build, married, father of twin boys. He was a friend of mine. We served together in the Army overseas, and when the war finished, I came back to my job on the force, and Max went back to his old job. It didn't fit him anymore. He stopped working and started drinking. His wife didn't help much. Max started with small trouble, but it grew fast. On the afternoon of February the 8th, Tuesday, Ben and I surprised two men holding up a Main Street jewelry shop. Shots were exchanged, and Ben received a flesh wound in the shoulder. One of the hold-up men escaped. The other one was apprehended. His name was Max Tyler. Hi, Larry.
Hi, Joe. Glad you got here. Tyler says you won't talk to anybody but you.
Okay, boy. Thanks for standing by.
Sure. I'll be outside if you need anything.
Max?
Joe?
You're in deep this time. You shot a cop.
I didn't. This guy was with me. I didn't fire once.
You were in on the job.
Yeah.
Then don't expect presents.
I don't expect anything, Joe. Glad you came back. I don't want to talk to those other cops.
I work in the same department they do. Same job.
Well, it's easier to talk to you.
What's your story?
I was crazy to try it. No alibis, Joe, but I didn't know what I was doing. Believe me, I just didn't realize.
I won't buy it, Max. You told me the same thing 14 months ago when they picked you up for those bum checks you were passing.
Sure, I hung some paper, but I'm no hood, Joe. You know that. I was drinking. I needed dough for Dorothy and the kids. You gotta believe me. I need a break.
You said that before, too. I went to bat for you, got off with 6 months and 3 years probation. Now you turn up with another caper.
I know, Joe, I know. I'm sorry.
You're sorry once, Max, and it works, but one free ride's enough for anybody. Now, that's it.
Did I say I wanted that kind of a break? I'll serve my time, Joe. I'll serve every day I owe.
And then what can you tell me you couldn't have told the other cops?
I want to ask you a favor.
Yeah?
I know you're going to hook me on this. So while I'm doing my time, Dorothy and the kids are staying with relatives out in Inglewood. If you'll... Well, just keep an eye on them, you know, Joe. I don't mean dough. Dorothy can work with. Kind of watch out for them, huh? Give them a break, Joe. It's not their fault. Will you do it, Joe?
Yeah. Sure, I'll take care of it. Now, you do something for me.
Anything you want, guy.
Let's have the straight story. Who was the guy with you on that hold-up this afternoon?
Cresta, George Cresta. You know him.
Out of Folsom? Short guy, black hair?
Yeah. He's got a room above the Red Owl Bar down on East 3rd near Broadway. That's where he hangs out.
Where can we find Cresta now?
Oh, maybe there. I don't know. I'll give you a list of the places he goes. Some of his friends I've met. He sure roped me in. Said there wasn't going to be any rough stuff.
You were carrying an S&W 38.
Sure. When they got outside the jewelry shop, Cresta jammed the gun in my hand. I had to put it away, get it out of sight. Believe me, Joe, he roped me into this. It sounds like an alibi, I know.
This is your second time around, Max. It sounds like one.
Okay, I got nothing coming. Don't forget about Dorothy and the kids. Huh?
I promised you. Now, you want to give me a full statement on the hold-up now?
Anything you say, Joe.
I'll call for a stenographer.
Joe.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I am.
I believe you. You got the feeling too late, that's all. Max Tyler was arraigned in municipal court 2 days later. Bail was set at $10,000. 3 days after that came his preliminary hearing in municipal court. At his arraignment in Superior Court, 5 weeks after he'd been apprehended, Tyler entered a plea of not guilty. A date was set for his trial in Superior Court. Meantime, the hunt for George Cresta, Max's accomplice, went on. There wasn't a sign of him. Our informants had no lead on him, and the all-points bulletin containing all the information we had on Cresta brought in nothing. On Monday, March 22nd, the trial of Max Tyler was held in Superior Court. Ben and I were subpoenaed to appear. The victim of the holdup, the jewelry store manager, was the first to testify. He was questioned by both the prosecutor and the counsel for the defense. He left the stand at 11:25 a.m.
If it please, Your Honor.
Counsel for the defense.
Before the next witness testifies, I'd like permission to approach the bench.
Permission granted. Counsel for the prosecution may also approach.
Wonder what that's all about, Joe.
Something's up.
Hey, look. Judge is shaking his head. Public defender's going back to the counsel's table.
Counsel for the defense.
Your Honor, it is my client's desire to change his plea to guilty.
Defendant rise and face the court. Max Tyler, is that your true name?
Yes, Your Honor.
On the 12th day of March of this year, in Superior Court, Department 83, City and County of Los Angeles, State of California, you've heretofore been arraigned on the charge of robbery in the first degree. At that time, you pled not guilty to the charge in question. Is it now your desire to change that plea?
Yes, sir, it is.
You've reached this decision of your own free will?
Yes, I have.
There's been no force employed, no promise of gratuity or reward to induce you to reach this decision?
No, sir.
Counsel for the prosecution.
Yes, Your Honor. Max Tyler, on the 12th day of March of this year in Superior Court, City and County of Los Angeles, State of California, you are arraigned on the charge of robbery in the first degree. That time you entered a plea as set forth in this information. How do you now plead? Guilty or not guilty?
Guilty.
Is it stipulated that at the time of the commission of the robbery, the defendant was armed with a deadly weapon, to wit, a revolver?
So stipulated.
Court that fixes the degree of robbery as robbery in the first degree.
Your Honor, in the interest of justice, the people move to dismiss count 2, assault with a deadly weapon.
At this time, Your Honor, the defendant waives time for sentencing and asks that he be sentenced immediately.
Just a moment. Max Tyler, it's the judgment of this court that on the 8th day of February of this year, you did enter the premises at 23108 East Main Street in the city, and there did attempt the felonious taking of personal property in the possession of another from his person in immediate presence and against his will. Further, said attempt was made while you were armed with a dangerous and deadly weapon. Max Tyler, this court finds you guilty of robbery in the first degree. Count 2 is dismissed.
Does it, Joe?
Decision of this court that you be returned to the county jail. Sheriff will transfer you to the state penitentiary where you will serve the sentence as prescribed by law. Court is set for 15 minutes.
Hey, Joe. Miss Tyler over there, she's taking it pretty hard.
Come on, we better go see her. Hello, Dorothy.
I love him, Joe. What am I going to do without him? Children.
I'll give it to you straight, Dorothy. You didn't do much to keep Max out of this. You drank right along with him. You don't
Joe,
deserve those kids. That's my opinion.
Please, I know it. Don't make it any harder. Don't.
I'll do anything I can for the kids, Dorothy. That's all.
What am I going to do without him? I can't be all alone without Max. It's not right. It's not right.
Neither's armed robbery. Goodbye, Dorothy. Before the end of March, Max Tyler was delivered to San Quentin State Penitentiary, where he started serving his term. His wife, Dorothy Tyler, got a job as a telephone operator. She and her children continued living with her relatives down in Inglewood. I helped them out whenever I could. 6 months went by. Every 2 weeks, faithfully, Tyler wrote me a letter from prison. I answered most of them. While Ben and I worked on other jobs, the search for George Cresta went on. We failed to uncover a single lead. 10 months passed. Tuesday, January 16th, 1949, 4 p.m. I checked in for work as usual.
Hi, Joe. Cold out, huh?
Yeah. Did you pick up the mail?
Mm-hmm. It's letter in your box from San Quentin.
Tyler, huh?
How's he doing anyway?
Good. Clean record. Got himself a pretty fair job in the prison library.
Yeah.
I talked to the warden up there. Says Tyler ought to be eligible for parole in about a year if he keeps his nose clean.
You going to bat for Tyler again?
I don't know. See what happens.
How can you see anything in that guy? He's giving you nothing but trouble.
A lot of people giving him the same. Maybe that explains it.
Not for me, it doesn't. I wouldn't trust him with dirty laundry.
I get it. Robbery Friday.
Joe, it's Dorothy Tyler. I got to talk to you.
Yeah, Dorothy, what's the matter?
I found Krista. I saw him.
What?
George Krista. I know where he is. I saw him downtown. I followed him to his place.
You sure it was him?
I'm positive. He's staying at 134 Jesse Street. It's a rooming house just off Alameda. 134 Jesse.
Got it. Thanks, Dorothy. Come on, Ben. 8 minutes later, Ben and I were interviewing the landlord at 134 Jesse Street, a cheap rooming house down on the south end of the city. The landlord's name was Peterson. We showed him Cresta's mug shot, and he told us he was in room 11. We went up a dark, narrow stairway to the second floor.
And here we are, number 11.
All right, stand clear. I'll try the door.
Mm-hmm.
It's open.
Yeah. Joe, have a look. He's asleep.
He's passed out. Come on, slip the cuffs on him.
That was easy.
Yeah. All right, I got his gun.
He's been drinking, all right. He'll have a big hangover.
He'll have a long time to get over it. George Cresta was booked at county jail on suspicion of robbery. 2 months and 3 weeks later in Superior Court, he was tried and convicted of assault with a deadly weapon and first-degree robbery and sentenced to the state penitentiary. The day after Cresta was sentenced, I was called to the office of Chief of Detectives Thad Brown.
Friday, this Max Tyler is coming up for parole in a couple of months. He's a friend of yours, isn't he?
That's right, in a way.
You've been writing letters to the warden. You've talked to the parole board about him. Understand you're helping on his kids.
A few presents. They haven't had much of a break. They're just youngsters.
You're working hard to get Tyler's parole. Do you think he's worth it?
Well, I was off both him and his wife, and then she gave us that tip about Cresta, and Tyler's got such a good record up at Q, I figured they'd earned another chance.
You're sticking your chin out, Joe, helping a con to get a parole. I think you'll realize that.
Well, I believe he's a good risk now, Chief. He's pretty weak in some things. He needs direction, that's all. His wife's getting better. She might help more than she did.
I hope both of them are worth it.
If anything happens, I know I'm going to get it from all sides.
You really think some men deserve another chance, don't you?
Yes, sir, I do.
I wouldn't want you working for me if you didn't.
2 more weeks went by. Tuesday, April the 19th. Ben came down with a bad cold and had to lay off work. At the same time, a new gang started a hold-up campaign among the liquor stores out in the Wilshire district. A new rash of armed robberies broke out in the central area. There was an attempted bank robbery. It was a bad week. Ben got back to work on Saturday.
Rough time, huh, Joe?
Busy, yeah. Did you beat that cold all right?
Sure, I feel much better. Doctor gave me some new medicine. Works good.
Oh, that's fine. Maybe I'll knock off early tonight if nothing's doing.
That's a good idea. Shouldn't be too much tonight.
Teletype for you. Just came in.
Oh, thanks, Larry.
Sure.
What's the matter, Joe? What is it?
Max Tyler. He broke out of prison this morning.
You are listening to Dragnet, authentic stories of your police force in action. And now, here's an authentic report from Fatima Cigarettes.
In 1949, Fatima doubled, tripled, and quadrupled its smokers.
In 1950, enjoy Fatima yourself.
You'll find Fatima extra mild.
Because Fatima is the long cigarette which contains the finest Turkish and domestic tobacco superbly blended to make Fatima extra mild.
You'll find Fatima tastes much better.
Fatima's superb blend gives you a much different, much better flavor and aroma than any other long cigarette.
You'll find Fatima tops in cigarette quality.
Fatima has always stood for the best in cigarette quality. For a new year of great smoking enjoyment, buy Fatima in the appealing golden yellow package. You'll agree, Fatima is the best of all long cigarettes.
In the course of his career, the police officer is afforded 2 diverse views of the criminal. At first, the rookie cop is taught to distrust the criminal at every turn, without exception. He's schooled in 1,001 ways in which the criminal operates, his psychology, his mode of operation. Then, when he's thoroughly acquainted with the methods of the criminal and how best to detect them, the police officer starts to learn the most difficult lesson of all: how to distinguish between the confirmed criminal and the lawbreaker, in whom there is hope of rehabilitation. After 9.5 years of police work, my first experiment in this field was with Max Tyler. I'd given him 2 chances to prove himself, and he'd lost on both of them. So did I. 2 months before his parole hearing, which might have given him his freedom, Max Tyler had suddenly decided to escape. How he figured it, I didn't know, but it was my job to find him. At 5 o'clock that afternoon, Ben and I met in the chief of detective's office. 2 officers, Holland and Grayson, from the State Adult Authority Escape Detail, were there.
How did Tyler manage his escape, Grayson?
Well, same old story. They figured they could trust him up there. He had a good job on the prison farm. They trusted him.
When did they find out he was gone?
On the early morning count. Have you checked his relatives out in Inglewood yet?
Yeah, we have. We've got the home staked out. We're covering all the places we figure he might go.
How about Mrs. Tyler? You get in touch with her, Friday?
The relatives told us that she's on a weekend vacation with the 2 kids, staying with friends down at Laguna Beach.
We got a call into them. Should be hearing from them soon.
I understand Tyler's a friend of yours, Friday. He was ready for parole.
Yeah. I was trying to help him along. I thought the guy deserved a break.
He didn't need you, Joe. He made his own.
Well, he was feeling bad. You weren't the only one fooled, Friday. You had the prison officials buffaloed, too.
Yeah, I know. I helped convince them. You got any leads on Tyler at all, Grayson? I mean, from the time he broke prison?
Pretty strange. They traced him as far as Stockton, and then they lost the trail completely.
The Stockton police in on the search?
Yeah, sure funny. The guy has no money, no car we know of, no change of clothes.
You figure he's getting help from somebody?
Could be. Excuse me a minute. Brown speaking. Just a moment. You, Friday.
Oh, thank you. Friday? Yeah. When? Where? Just a minute. Will you hold on, please? It's the Tyler's friends down at Laguna Beach.
Mrs. Tyler there?
No, she called him last night about 7 o'clock. Told him she'd changed her plans. She wasn't coming.
She told them where she was going?
She wanted to know which highway would take her to Stockton. We told the Tyler's friends in Laguna Beach to contact us immediately if they heard from either Mr. or Mrs. Tyler. We got out an APB on Dorothy Tyler, and then we drove out to interview her relatives in Inglewood. They told us that Mrs. Tyler had the 2 children with her. She had left their house at 6 p.m. the night before by taxi. As far as they knew, she didn't own a car. We talked with some of her friends in the neighborhood. The only thing they could tell us was that she had not borrowed a car from any of them. We drove down to the telephone exchange where she was employed as an operator, and we spoke with a manager, a Mr. Ralph Cartwright.
I'm sorry, gentlemen. This is Mrs. Tyler's night off. Is there something I can help you with?
When is Miss Tyler due back at work, Mr. Cartwright?
Well, she's working the 10 to 7 starting tomorrow, due in at 10 a.m.
We understand that she's on a weekend vacation, huh?
Yes, you see, today was payday, so she asked me if she could have her check ahead of time. Said she had to have the money for the weekend.
Did you give her the check?
Oh, my, no. I couldn't give her the check ahead of time. But I did do her a favor, just to help her over the weekend.
What was that?
I loaned her my car.
We got a complete description of the car together with a license number and called the office. The information was broadcast to all units throughout the city and teletyped to all points in the state. Chief of Detectives Thad Brown ordered an immediate stakeout on the telephone exchange where Mrs. Tyler was employed. The stakeout at the home of Inglewood continued. Another day passed. We checked with the bank where Mrs. Tyler maintained her account. It was 10:25 a.m. when we got back to robbery detail.
Gentlemen, what'd you find out?
Miss Tyler closed her account 3 days ago, withdrew all her savings, $46.55.
They're not going to go far on that.
Any word about that car she borrowed?
Teletype came in about an hour ago. They found it just outside Santa Barbara, abandoned.
Anyone see the Tylers?
No reports.
I wonder how those poor kids are making out.
Yeah. He must be crazy, and his wife, too. If she was going to help him pull an escape, why'd she have to drag the kids along?
It's the way some parents figure, Friday. They owe their children nothing. The children owe them everything.
Call for you, Friday. Take it on 2.
Oh, thanks, Larry. Friday.
This is Hopkins, Friday, on stakeout at the phone exchange.
Yeah, Bert.
Tyler woman came for a check. We got her.
Dorothy Tyler was brought into the city hall. With her was one of her children. He was delivered to the juvenile authorities for the time being. Mrs. Tyler was brought to the interrogation room. She refused to admit anything to the officers from the adult authority. She said she wanted to talk to me. I went in. She threw her arms around me and started crying.
Joe, you won't let him get Max, will you? You won't let him.
I'm after him as much as they are, maybe more. Where is he?
I can't tell you.
Why'd you do it, Dorothy? Why?
Oh, you know why, Joe. You know why. I had to see him. I had to be with Max.
It's a bum deal. You traded days for years.
They can't get it. If I don't tell them where he is, they won't find him.
They'll find him. He's got to eat, so do you and the kids. He has to go to work, and working with a gun is all he knows. He'll leave a trail. We'll find him.
Children. What have they done to the children? Where's Jimmy?
They're taking care of him. That's more than you did. Where's your other boy, Vance?
Max. Max has him.
Oh, that's fine. You and Max ought to be real proud of yourselves.
I had to see him. You know that. I had to see Max.
Has he got a gun? Has he? Has he used it?
No. He just thought he might need it. He hasn't hurt anyone. I swear it.
You helped him escape, is that right? You helped him.
He needed help. I met him at San Rafael. We drove all night. He didn't hurt anyone, Joe. He hasn't hurt anyone.
Where is he now? Where is he? All right, Dorothy, we'll find him.
Joe, if I tell you, will you go alone? I can show you the way. Will you go alone?
Yeah.
All right. I'll take you to him, Joe. I trust you.
Yeah, I trusted him once, too. 5 p.m., Monday, April 25th. Dorothy, Tyler, Ben, and I got in the car and headed north for the coast town of Santa Maria. Acting under orders of Chief of Detectives Thad Brown, Larry Thompson from Robbery Detail followed in another car. Holland and Grayson from the State Adult Authority were with him. It was 10 minutes past 8 when we drove through the town of Santa Maria. Just outside the city, Dorothy Tyler directed us to turn off onto a dirt road. We drove about 2 miles. She told us to pull up.
Across that field. Shack by those trees.
Lonely out here.
I'll go with you, Joe. Maybe Max won't understand.
No, you stay here.
Joe, that car. Car stopped here.
It's cops, Dorothy. It had to be. They won't shoot unless Max does.
But you promised. You said you'd go alone.
I'll go alone.
Friday?
Hello, Grayson.
Where is he? She tell you?
That shack over there across the field by that clump of trees.
He's got one of the kids with him, that right?
Yeah, he won't be any trouble.
He's armed. The cons up at Quentin say he won't be taken alive. They say he'll shoot it out.
They talk a lot.
You better let us take him. You're not getting paid for this one.
I'll take him alone. I made a promise.
That guy in the shack's in the habit of breaking promises.
I keep mine. Keep an eye on Miss Tyler, will you, Ben?
Thompson's watching her. I'm coming with you.
I told her I'd go alone.
There's 2 doors, front and back. Which one you going in?
Front.
I'll be around back. Careful, Jim.
Yeah. I'll be right back, Grayson. I started to cross the field. The shack was about 100 yards from the road. The field was uncultivated, and I wasn't sure of my footing. I stumbled over a tree stump. Halfway across the field, the lights in the shack went out.
Who's that? Who is it?
It's me, Max. Joe Friday. Max? Come on, open up. All right, Max.
Why the gun, Joe? I never thought you'd take me with a gun.
I never thought I'd have to kick down a door to get you. You've changed a lot, Max.
How'd you find me, Dorothy tell you?
Where is she? Outside. Your boy over there, Vance.
He's sleeping. He's okay.
Put out your hands. Put out your hands.
Oh. I'm sorry, Joe.
Yeah.
You've been good to us. I won't try to explain.
Neither will I, Max. Come on.
The story you have just heard was true. Only the names were changed to protect the innocent.
On June 2nd, trial was held in Superior Court, City and County of Marin, State of California. In a moment, the results of that trial.
It's amazing how many long cigarette smokers are changing to Fatima. Here are the actual figures. New York Division.
Fatima sales up 132%.
Los Angeles Division.
Fatima sales up 545%.
St. Louis Division.
Fatima sales up 548%.
Yes, in 1949, more and more smokers discovered that Fatima is the best of all long cigarettes.
They found Fatima extra mild.
They found Fatima has a much different, much better flavor.
They found the name Fatima means the best in cigarette quality.
In 1950, enjoy Fatima yourself. Best of all long cigarettes.
Max Tyler pleaded guilty to the charge of escape and was sentenced to the term as prescribed by law. He was returned to San Quentin and then transferred to Folsom Penitentiary, where he is now serving his sentence. You have just heard Dragnet, a new series of authentic cases from official files. Technical advice for Dragnet comes from the Office of Acting Chief of Police, W.A. Wharton, Los Angeles Police Department.
Dragnet honors the state of California and the men of the California Highway Patrol, another of America's outstanding law enforcement agencies. One of these men, Highway Patrol Commissioner Clifford E. Peterson, outstanding administrator and educator in the field of law enforcement, dedicates his life to making yours more secure.
Fatima Cigarettes, best of all long cigarettes, has brought you Dragnet from Los Angeles.
Be sure to hear Mr. and Mrs. Ronald Coleman in the Halls of Ivy starting tomorrow on NBC.